News, and it's the same message pro-Palestinian protesters were sending to President Biden to stop funding support for Israel's fight in Gaza.
The fact that he didn't means he supports this genocide, that he's got the blood of 40,000 Palestinians on his hands.
Hatem Abudeye is a spokesperson for the March on D.C. coalition, which plans to march outside the Democratic Convention later today, with other protests already underway.
There's more than 200 different groups involved here, some of them, of course, much more extreme than others. And they've negotiated everything from the platform to the speakers to the porta potties to that route system, about a 1-mile loop where they're allowed to walk. We'll see whether they stick to that or not.
Fox's Steve Harrigan in Chicago, where multiple law enforcement agencies, including the Secret Service, have been preparing for a year. President Biden will give a primetime speech tonight, but is not expected to stick around for tributes to him from other speakers this week ahead of Vice President Harris's speech Thursday. Former President Trump and running mate J.D. Vance plan a sweep through multiple swing states this week, beginning today with separate events in Pennsylvania.
Sort of offering counter-programming to the Democratic National Convention and trying to sort of blunt any possible surge that Vice President Kamala Harris could experience as a result of that convention. So this battleground blitz will take place all week long. Trump is expected to hit several states on the East Coast and in the Midwest before heading out to Arizona. He and Vance will visit the border and then to Nevada.
Fox physicist Grady Trimble in York, Pennsylvania. Parts of the Northeast recovering from heavy rain and flooding, blamed for at least one death in Connecticut.
It's very overwhelming right now to see what damage Mother Nature did to us.
On New York's Long Island, flash flooding displacing some students at Stony Brook University. America is listening to Fox News.
Small business owners, we know finishing your to-do list can feel like climbing a mountain, but that mountain is also covered in banana peels. Then when something new gets added to your list, you're like, nope, I'm already climbing this huge, super slippery banana peel mountain of a to-do list. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy to manage your policy on our mobile app, so climbing that banana peel mountain feels more like a leisurely stroll. See if you can save on commercial auto insurance in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms and conditions.
You've got a Pepto predicament, Beach Bum.
Hey, we're heading down to the beach. You coming?
Yeah, Dad. You coming?
I had a little too much to eat at the resort buffet. I need a minute. Oh, you overdid it. And now your beach vacation is giving you belly waves. Undo it with Pepto.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Pepto Chewables provide fast 5-symptom relief so you can get back to making memories.
Let's go, Dad!
When you overdo it, undo it with Pepto. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Boy, oh boy, no complaints about our weather for the next couple of days. Lots of sunshine this afternoon and just plain nice for August. 82 for the high. Tonight, clear skies and great. 60 for the overnight low. 70s for evening plans. Tuesday, sunny and nice, 80. Wednesday and Thursday, sunny and nice, right around 80 degrees. 90 plus, though, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. No rain in sight. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
You've listened to 97.1 FM Talk. You've heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial and Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple as the financial expert on the station for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend right here on 97.1 FM Talk. And you can talk to Doug Voss directly. Here's his number. Call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through D.H. Hill Securities, LLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
The pitch.
Do you dream about calling Cardinals games?
Goldschmidt swings and he hits.
If so, the Missouri Broadcasters Association Sportscasters Forum is for you. Learn about play-by-play reporting, interviewing, and working with pro athletes from the best broadcasters in the business. John Rooney, Chip Carey, Rick Horton, Brad Thompson, and more. The Sportscasters Forum is Thursday, September 19th at Live by Lowe's. Tickets include 3 educational sessions, lunch, and a ticket to that evening's Cardinals game. For details, go to MissouriBroadcasters.org.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility in this election year? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 38 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Happy Monday. Welcome to the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk. Thank you for being here this afternoon. It's interesting to see the Democrat Party descending upon my home state. Yes, of course, that northeastern corner of our state, Chicago, where 2/3 of the Illinois population resides. And gosh, it's just like the glowing reviews that when you get a home and you bring people, you've got like a big party. The party's going to be, Christmas is going to be at your house for the first time this Christmas, and everybody, all the families coming, and you're like trying to make everything just look perfect. And then people start talking about all of the things that are not perfect about your home. That's what it feels like to see the DNC in Chicago this week, at least the way a lot of the worst parts of what Illinois has to offer are on full display. I say this as somebody who loves Illinois. Chicago is a beautiful city being destroyed by really, really stupid policies. There are wonderful people in Chicago. There are wonderful things that Chicago has to offer, but we don't do our best job to showcase them. Do you recognize that same problem, St. Louis? I think that you probably know exactly what I'm talking about if you're a Missourian and you are somebody who's, been around St. Louis. You call St. Louis home when people ask you where you're from. You're from St. Charles, but what do you say? You say St. Louis or some version of it. You're proud of it enough to call it your home, but you know that when people come here, it's just there are things that don't need to be the way they are, and it is very, very sad to have that be on full display. That's taking place right now. Started yesterday. I've been watching the coverage, and here's the mayor of Chicago talking about the DNC coming to his city.
We're ready for this convention. Look, our local police department has worked with the Secret Service as well as other local agencies to ensure a safe, peaceful, yet vibrant, exciting convention. The city of Chicago has been rated #1 as it relates to convention centers and how we make sure that we protect people while also providing an opportunity to see the beauty and the soul of who we are.
I hope that, sincerely hope that this week in Chicago, that the DNC gets through and nobody is hurt, that there are no tragic crime stories that come out of it. Although, I will say, not a caveat to that statement, it does frustrate me when you look, I think it's 21, did I see that right? 21 people shot in Chicago over this weekend. Does that even get discussed at the Democrat convention this week in Chicago? Is crime something that is a prime concern for the people who want to take that leadership role in the Democrat Party to continue their leadership? I mean, the way crime has grown in our country at this point, it's interesting when you say that and then some people will throw back statistics in your face and in various places and talk about certain crimes going down. And then you realize that we just don't arrest for certain crimes anymore. We don't participate in the system that says that, yeah, those people really shouldn't be doing that. We want to focus on on rehabilitation. We want to focus on, the people who are committing the crimes. Why are they committing the crimes? I mean, at some point, if your loved one is a victim of some violent crime, and if you're sitting there for even a second and hearing somebody talk about what we need to do to help these people be rehabilitated, or even worse, you find out the people who have committed violent crimes are let back out into the community. And we all know in Illinois, the Safety Act, what they fully invested in, the Democrats, the supermajority of Democrats in Springfield, the General Assembly, and J.B. Pritzker himself, what they have invested in our state, constantly trying to re-describe words that you and I understand and have always known to be true, like victim. Who's the victim? Are you a victim of a system, and therefore your victimhood within a system that you have no control over you causes you to commit crimes against other people? If you phrase it that way, then the person who's committing the crimes, they couldn't help it. That's the natural course of actions. How can you blame that individual for committing those heinous crimes when the system was out to get them the whole time? So you have to redefine the system. That's the play. And you got to really ask yourself, I mean, in what reality do you really believe that is going to create a better community system for Americans to live in? And I always come back to the same conclusion when it makes zero sense that their solutions to the problems are actually going to fix the problems, when there's no way, shape, or form that any common sense applied using the Democrat far-left progressive solution to a problem like crime. You're looking at it and I'm looking at it and going, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to make us feel more safe. Look around you. Do you feel more safe in St. Louis? Do you feel more safe in Chicago? These policies aren't out there to solve this problem. You have to ask yourself if they're trying to solve the same problem. Every single time. The solutions that I might come up with, or maybe they're way over my head and I don't have the solutions, but I can sure identify what the problem is. How comfortable I feel walking hand in hand with my children down the streets of St. Louis or Chicago at 9 o'clock at night. Should I feel safe doing that? I should. But as a mother, I'm not going to. I'm not going to do that. Why is that? And that's because the people who are in charge of these communities are not trying to solve the same problems that we want to have solved. That's why the problems can get worse as you and I identify them, and they will just point to some statistic somewhere that makes them feel good about the direction they're heading in. They're solving problems that we don't identify as the main issue. Lawrence Jones and Fox and Friends interviewed Monet Jacobs, who lost her son last year in Chicago. And I'm going to play some of these clips. If you get a chance to watch this video, this interview, oh my gosh, rip your heart out, because it's as sad as it gets. And I'm watching this woman talk about the lost life of her son who has children. This Monet is a grandmother. I'm watching her talk about her son's life being lost. And it's at the DNC convention. She's saying things that aren't flattering to the Democrat way of doing things, because the community she comes from is just perpetually run by Democrats. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, the political tug of war that's going to come over Monet Jacobs and her dead son, her murdered son, ugh, it's gross. It's difficult to watch somebody's strife and somebody's heartache become a political talking point. You got to ask yourself, is this right? Is this what is good? And the truth of the matter is, these conversations have to be had. And when she herself is willing to put herself in the conversation, to have her voice be heard, we should shut up and we should listen to what Monet Jacobs has to say.
A lot of the politicians today say the reason why they are more soft on crime and have bail laws where the same criminals get back on the street is because they feel like it's a justice issue. What would you tell them?
Focus more on helping. We're losing babies. You know, we're not losing the elderly as fast as we're losing our young people. They're not even getting a chance to grow up. I'll never know what it feels like to have a grandchild from him. Like, we're losing our future, you know? I don't know what else to say to them. Like, what is it going to take for you to step in and do what you're supposed to do to protect the community? You're not doing that. Because if you were, we would have answers about everything. Babies getting shot in the front yard, as you said. Like, I don't even watch the news anymore. I seen him on the news, and it's like...
That was it for you.
It was flashbacks. So, no, I'm not into what's going on. You go on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, the social media, you always see somebody's up there. Shot women, kids, young men, you know?
I think there's an enormous amount of tragic clarity for somebody like Monet Jacobs, who's talking about the reality. You do not need, if you live in these communities, you do not need to flip on the news to understand that there are babies dying in the streets because crime is out of control. Getting shot out of their front yards, playing games in their front yards where they should feel 100% safe. They are not safe. Crime is out of control in so many different cities around our country, and the consistency is the policies that are not interested in getting criminal, law-breaking individuals off the streets and creating an absolute impenetrable safety bubble around these children so they can play in their front yards. She said more to Lawrence Jones in this interview.
My 5-year-old granddaughter misses him like crazy. What am I supposed to say to her? Nanny, what happened? I don't know, babe. You know, somebody...
You don't have an answer for it.
I don't have an answer because nobody's giving me an answer. So I don't know what to do in those circumstances. You understand? Like, how can I vote for somebody who I don't feel like has my back? Or any parent who lost their child's back. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we supposed to do? You want me to vote for you? What are you going to do for me? You say what you're going to do, but when you get in office, do you really do what you said you're going to do? I don't think so. Because this crime has been going on for decades, and it's getting sickening to watch parents on TV crying about the loss of their child. Like, it's hard when you have to bury someone that grew inside of you. Yeah. I never thought the hurt would be this bad. It's like, I lost my mom and my dad. Oh, that was hard. But this was just way over. It's too much hurt.
Gosh. When she's having this conversation with Lawrence Jones, she has tears streaming down her face. And she said that it's been this way forever. She talks about just like acceptance that this is the way it is. And then, you know, people show up on her doorstep and want her to vote for them. And she said, what are you going to do for me? Why would I vote for you? What are you going to do for me? And that's what the Democrats have done in these cities for so long. And to choose Chicago, of all places, to be the epicenter of Democrat policies by choice. I mean, it's almost too much. It's almost too much for me to bear, to watch what is taking place. I can't remember who the reporter was on Fox News, but he's in Chicago at the DNC, and he goes, well, basically, if you're anybody who hates America for anything, your group is here protesting. I'm working really hard watching this convention coverage. Of course, I'm watching a lot of it from Fox News, but there is an advantageous reason for Fox News to hyper-focus on these protesters. And I think to myself, if these protesters were in Milwaukee doing the same thing in Milwaukee, I'm wondering, would Fox News give it the same amount of coverage that they are going to give it here in Chicago? The thing is that we didn't have that in Milwaukee, so we don't know the answer to that. But I don't want to get blindsided. I don't want to allow myself to get blindsided in the dissent that we see in Chicago, the crime that took place this weekend, people who lost their lives this weekend in Chicago because crime is out of control. And it's just a weekend in August. Nothing special. Status quo. In Chicago, this is how things go. Are they going to address it this week at their convention? I doubt it. And that's the worst part of it. When we come back, we're going to speak with Brandon Straka. And I'm excited to play for you. I'm going to play for you this video here that he has re-released 6 years after his initial walk-away experience. And he's going to come back. He's going to come back and talk to us in about five minutes or so to discuss where he is now and what the state of this country is.
Once upon a time, I was a liberal. But you already know that. 6 years ago, I proclaimed that I was no longer a liberal and told all the reasons why. But I had no idea how much worse things were about to get. The left is no longer simply intolerant, inflexible, illogical, un-American, and misinformed. In the last 6 years, they have devolved into malicious, corrupt, perverse, sadistic, ruthless, oppressive, and borderline authoritarian behavior and rhetoric. Liberalism has been devoured by leftism, and leftism is just hatred and destruction marketed as virtue. For years now, we have watched as the left has embarked on an intentional and methodical endeavor to radically upend American life. They've pushed for every policy objective that would increase crime and disunity while destroying our economic system, our justice and morality, our right to defend our border, and our right to defend ourselves. Today, the ultimate goal of the Democrats is more power, more control.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
IGotFloor.com is a website for your next flooring purchase. They've got everything. They have a wide range of different products to fit your budget as well. So if flooring is in your near future, make sure Michael's Flooring Outlet has the opportunity to earn your business. They are going to do that with the best sales staff in St. Louis. They help people on Missouri and Illinois sides of the Mississippi River get paired with a quality product at a great value. And that's the important thing. When you marry those two things together, that's where you get satisfied customers. If you go onto their website at IGotFloor.com, you are going to quickly see the reviews that they have there. So you can take it from me. You can take it from a list of customers that they have on their website right now, championing the service that is provided by these wonderful people. They've been sponsors for the Annie Fry Show and 97.1 for, I think, decades near. And we've always been grateful to be a part of their business and have them be a part of ours. If you're in the flooring market right now, for your residents, for your commercial place of business, for your church, for your community center, make sure you reach out to Michael's Flooring Outlet online at IGotFloor.com.
More good news for Frederick Roofing, voted best roofing company by the St. Louis Post-Dispatch.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
314-645-2000.
Hi, Chad Hansen with Hansen's Tree Service and Environmental Resources. At Hansen's, we manufacture a full line of garden and landscape products that are perfect for your outdoor project. Pick up any of our products at World Outdoor Emporium, Kirkwood Materials, or a Hansen's location near you.
If you have Medicaid and need assistance with daily activities, you can receive free in-home care from a loved one, funded by Medicaid with no cost to you. Freedom Care, Missouri's #1 home care provider, gives you the power to choose who provides your care, and they get paid instantly. Imagine your daughter, son, a close relative, or trusted friend helping you with cooking, transportation, laundry, and other activities in your own home. You get the help you need, and your caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift. Freedom Care has over 5,000 five-star Google reviews and is #1 in Missouri for in-home care. If you have Medicaid and want great care from a loved one that's 100% free to you, go to freedomcare.com or call 314-557-3027. That's 314-557-3027. 314-557-3027.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 55 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
We know you've got an interesting take on things. You can tell us by clicking the microphone button next to Listen Live when you're on the Odyssey app. Record a short message for us to hear when you tune into 97.1 on the Odyssey app. This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
Our election is about understanding the importance of this beautiful country of ours in terms of what we stand for around the globe as a democracy. As a democracy, we know there's a duality to the nature of democracy. On the one hand, incredible strength when it is intact. What it does for its people to protect and defend their rights, their liberty, and their freedom. Incredibly strong and incredibly fragile.
Did you ever play Balderdash with your parents? That old purple box where you had to like write down a description of a word that you'd never heard of? Because I feel like she's just reading Balderdash descriptions of things. If she hasn't scared people away from the Democrat Party yet, we have the original walk-away founder, Brandon Straka, on with us today. And I'm excited to bring him back onto the Annie Fry Show because he made a decision when maybe it wasn't as popular to do so, to say, you know what, this isn't for me. Whatever that was, Kamala Harris probably isn't for him either. Brandon, thank you for coming back on the show. It's great to have you here.
Hey, it's good to be back. How are you?
Doing okay. I'm a little, we get every day closer to this election. And I wonder how many people are going to be like you were after Hillary Clinton lost, devastated, and then you kind of had your eyes open. And I want to hear that story again. Why maybe not Democrats anymore? I wonder how you have made this 6-year journey to right now, what you've learned in that amount of time.
Yeah. How many days do you have?
I have a week. Go ahead.
Oh, God. Well, I guess the bottom line is, because I've been doing I just put this video out, so I've been doing a few more interviews recently than I have been in weeks prior. And people keep asking me things like, when I put the video out 6 years ago, did I imagine that 3 years later, what happened to me would have happened to me, and, all these different things, or that we'd be in this place that we're at today. And I mean, the answer is no. I mean, I put a video out 6 years ago talking about all the reasons why I was walking away from the Democratic Party and walking away from the left. At the time, my reasons for walking away were like, they accuse us of racism when they're the ones who exploit minorities, and that they're bending our conventional concepts of gender and things like that. Now it's like they're putting us in jail and trying to shoot us.
Yeah, that happened fast. That came at you quick.
Yeah, real fast. And honestly, other than I haven't been shot yet, it's coming, I'm sure. But like, that's just about everything else I've experienced. They put me in jail. They tried to bankrupt me. They sued me. They banned me from PayPal, Venmo, Stripe, Patreon. I got banned from being able to send and receive money for a while. I couldn't get on an airplane without being accompanied by air marshals. Like, that's not a joke. That's not a joke.
What did you do to deserve that? What did they think you did?
They knew that on January 6th, I stood outside of the Capitol for 8 minutes shooting a video on my phone. They knew, when I say they knew, I mean, like, I wasn't even charged with or accused of committing any violence, of any damage. I didn't even witness I didn't witness anyone breaking any windows, fighting with police officers, and I never entered the building. They knew this. Nonetheless, because of who I was and because they knew I was standing on restricted grounds, they raided my home. The FBI came into my house, got me out of bed. They put me in handcuffs, took me to jail, and a team of agents stripped my apartment of my computers, my phones, my hard drives, my thumb drives. But all of that because I stood outside of the building for 8 minutes shooting a video.
I mean,
sorry.
Go ahead.
Because you asked the question, why did they do it? In addition, that's what the Department of Justice did.
But when the Department of Justice did that, of course, it became an international story that I was a part of the insurrection. And because of that, I had to start being accompanied by air marshals when I got on airplanes. I had to go through literally hours of secondary screening at the airport before I could get on a flight. And then I got banned from every payment platform you can imagine, email services, you name it.
What kind of danger were you to people? I mean, did they ever articulate like the threat that you were in their mind, like the thing that they could construct against you?
Yeah. So the reason specifically that happened with TSA and the air marshals and all that is because Benny Thompson, who was one of the heads of the January 6th committee, Democratic Party congressman, contacted TSA and told them, he did this in early January after the 6th, contacted them and told them, what are you doing to make travel difficult / impossible for what he said, the white supremacists and domestic terrorists who went to the Capitol on January 6th. This is a letter that has since been published.
Oh my gosh.
And he basically put pressure on them saying, we as the members of Congress and the January 6th committee are demanding that you make travel difficult for the white supremacists and the terrorists that went to the Capitol on January 6th. And that's what they did to us.
You know, I'm thinking of you, Brandon. We're speaking with Brandon Straka right now, the original Walkaway founder, and I encourage you to check out everything that he is doing right now with that movement. I'm thinking about the southern border. I'm thinking about the people who are just blindly coming across. I'm thinking about the people who are being put on airplanes by our federal government and dropped into our country, who are not being surveilled by air marshals. People don't even know where they are right now. That's like by design. Oh, we can't find them. We don't know where they are. But, thank God Brandon Straka can't go from, Nebraska to Miami without us knowing every single thing he does, what kind of drinks he orders, and so on and so forth. What does it make you think when you hear about the way other people, nameless people, are being handled in this country and how they are treating you?
Well, look, I've been living in the Twilight Zone now for 3.5 years. So I've at this point kind of built my own coping mechanisms to deal with all of this. But, my January 6th case from the Department of Justice prosecutors to the judges that have handled my case, it became clear to me at the very beginning that this was being treated literally like an act of terrorism, and that they were taking this very seriously. So I had to play their game that okay, this is what we're doing. But in the video that I just put out, and I don't know if you've had a chance to look at it yet.
Yes, I watched all 9 minutes of it.
One of the points that I made in this new video, and it's for anyone who hasn't seen it, basically in this video, I go over everything in the last 6 years that the Democrats have done to destroy our country, our culture, our values, our freedom. It's rapid fire. I mean, it's a lot and it happens very fast. But one of the points I make is they'll provide sanctuary for illegal migrants, but surveil American citizens that they fear are too patriotic. And that's basically it, because, and then I show two different headlines. One of them is that, Laken Riley was murdered by an illegal migrant that was given sanctuary in this country by the Democrats. Yet the next article that I cut to is how the FBI is surveilling Trump supporters leading up to the 2024 election. Your question to me is, how do I feel about that? I mean, what I feel is that, we're not that far away from what they do in China, where their government surveils their citizens and gives them social credit scores and decides the amount of freedom that they're allowed to have based off of how they behave and what they believe.
When I think about your movement, when, like you said at the beginning, they used to call us names and then they put you, then they put us in jail. I mean, this is, like I said, that accelerated quickly, especially for you. The thing that I respect about you, Brandon, so much is that most people would get angry, and I'm sure you are angry, but not everybody gets motivated you have gotten motivated and you have put your feet in action, not just your mouth or your fingers on a keyboard into action. What have you seen grow out of your walkaway moment that you made into one video that you have now turned into this new video 6 years later? I shared it on my Twitter. You've shared it, of course. What have you gotten out of this motivation?
Well, look, I always tell the truth. And so I'm going to be really honest with you and say there is I'm in New York City right now. I'm sorry. I don't know if you can hear it. There's like mad sirens going on outside. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm in a hotel. When I put out the video in 2018 and I launched Walkaway in 2018, from that moment up until January 6th, it was nothing but explosive growth. And I mean, really what I would call like the most kind of like magical experience of this movement, getting people feeling excited, motivated, feeling like they have a home, people thinking, okay, we can think for ourselves and break away from the groupthink and the tribal mentality and the victim narrative. And I mean, honestly, it was really just, despite the fact that the left was fighting me the whole time, but it really felt nothing but magical and amazing. Then January 6th happens. We have to go basically quiet for about a year and a half as I go through my case, my sentencing, all of that. Now I'm back. I'm working just as hard as I ever did. I'm out there fighting just as hard as ever, putting out the content, doing the events. But I'll be honest with you, I feel it's a very palpable feeling that people are afraid to get involved the way that they used to. They're being much more quiet than they used to. I mean, we still are, getting videos and stories from people walking away, and it's not just walk away. I see it with people afraid to speak out about supporting Trump or afraid to speak out about supporting whatever. I mean, they've really done a very effective job, I think, at making people feel paralyzed and a chilling effect to people not wanting to speak out or show up for events or get involved. And so I'm never going to stop. But, it's
the challenge.
I do feel like I'm working really, really hard right now, and the results are not what they were.
Brandon, I was having this conversation a week ago. Long story short, I took my son, he's 14, 8th grade class trip this past spring. He kept asking me for a MAGA hat. He's clearly exposed to politics a little more than the average 14-year-old. And I kept saying, no. He's like, I want to spend my own money. I said to my son, Charlie, do you know what people are going to say to you when you wear that? And he said to me, he goes, Mom, I know, and I don't care. I was like, you want to spend your own money, you can do it. He gets compliments everywhere he goes. He's a 14-year-old kid. But what I've realized is that it's so rare to we're in the Midwest. It's so rare to even see a Trump hat out and about right now that it'll make somebody's day just to see that hat because somebody had the bravery to do that. The left wins every single argument because Republicans don't show up to have the argument. And being willing to speak on it, that's where the surface starts to crack for the left. And you've been a pioneer in that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And, I always try to make it a point. I'm in New York City right now.
There it is. New Yorkers for Trump.
Yeah. And so I try to make it a point in some way, almost every day to make a statement or to not be afraid to make a statement. Every time I get on an airplane, I either wear something about Trump or I wear something about Walkaway or whatever, because these are the moments where I think that when we're kind of in these like captive situations with other people, that I want them to know that people like me exist and that I'm not afraid to, say how I feel or speak about my beliefs. And most recently, when I was flying to New York City, I was on an airplane and I was wearing, we have a new shirt with Walkaway now that's Trump after he's been shot, like upping his fist. And it says Walkaway at the top. And then at the bottom, it says fight in giant letters with his picture on it. And when I got off the plane, a woman came up to me and she said, I love your shirt. And I said, thank you. And she said, you're very brave to wear that in New York. And I said, well, I guess so. But I was like, I'm not doing anything wrong. I mean, so why wouldn't I say, let people know how I feel.
Yeah, look at the people marching in the streets of Chicago this week during the convention and the things they're willfully wearing and screaming and shouting in the faces of police officers. No shame there. A simple Trump t-shirt. I think we can all put our hands in the middle and try to do a little bit better. I think we can follow your lead. Brandon, before we let you go, how can we help you continue the walkaway movement? How can we support you?
Well, okay, so coming back to the point of, people speaking out more and encouraging people to get back in the game, we are incentivizing people with, I think, a really cool challenge. We're calling it the Walkaway $10,000 Testimonial Video Challenge. So between now and November 1st, we're running a contest for the best walkaway video, and people can go to walkawaychallenge.com to sign up. You have to sign up. So go to walkawaychallenge.com to read the rules. But the first 50 people to enter are going to automatically win $100. And then once you've entered, you have a chance at 3 prizes. Third place, $500. Second place, $1,000. First place, $10,000. We're giving away $10,000 to the person who submits the best walkaway video. So guys, get off your lazy, stupid, scared butts. And you're not stupid, but lazy and scared. Get off your butts and share your stories. We've got 2 months to wake up as many people as possible. If you have a walkaway story, now's the time to share it, and you could possibly win $10,000 if you do. Great. All you got to do is go to walkawaychallenge.com, read the rules, sign up, make your video, enter it according to the rules, and you have a chance at winning $10,000. And if you're one of the first 50, you automatically get $100.
Yeah, there's no reason not to participate in that. So go to walkawaychallenge.com. Also, go follow him, Brandon Straka, on Twitter, on X, and retweet this new video that he has. It's so well done. It really sums up the whole story. And get the message out. That's a very small, subtle thing you can do. If you've got a big story to tell, walkawaychallenge.com. Brandon, it is always a pleasure to have you on the show and to tell your story. It's always welcome here. Thank you again for the time. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Good to see you again.
Yep, you as well. Thank you so much. Brandon Straka, you know him from the Walkaway movement. He's the Walkaway founder, and you can go to walkawaychallenge.com to sign up. And if you do sign up for that and you send in a video, alert me, because I'm going to keep my eye on it, because I want to see if you win. That would be so great if we had an Annie Fry Show audience member participate and win in that challenge. Let's take a quick break. Wiggins America. When we come back, I'll give you the Monday roundup. Wonderful to speak with Brandon Straka. In the next hour, we've got Steve Moore is going to talk to us about Kamanomics. I've had to practice that word. And communism, but that's spelled with a K-A-M. It's hard to tell the difference. You see what I'm doing there? Let's get Ryan Wiggins in here for Wiggins America next.
This is the Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Let's talk about the Diamond Shop. If you find them online at thediamondshop.net, you will understand the beautiful, beautiful things that are on sale right now in August. They have 30% off all in-stock jewelry throughout the entire month. Make sure that when you go to the Diamond Shop in Clayton, you tell them that Annie said hi. My beautiful, beautiful strand of pearls that my husband got me. Classic strand of pearls from the Diamond Shop. Every time I wear them, I can picture the moment I got that little red bag from my husband. It was a commemoration of a special birthday and actually, honestly, when I got this show middays officially and got a huge change in my lifestyle from being behind the scenes and radio to the front, this is something that my husband was like, this is a moment for the Diamond Shop, and they delivered, and they absolutely will for you as well. 30% off all in-stock jewelry throughout the course of the entire month. Coming up soon, they're going to have an annual clearance sale. I will tell you more about that a little bit later in the month, but they're always there with great value on the most beautiful prices. If you go online to thediamondshop.net, you'll be able to sign up to become a VIP, and you'll get 10% extra off most of your purchases. Find all the details online at thediamondshop.net.
Experience the beauty of custom-crafted windows that enhance your home's aesthetics and energy efficiency. Look no further than Infinity from Marvin, proudly brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design. Why choose Infinity? These windows are not just strong, they're 8 times stronger than vinyl, providing unmatched security for your home. Plus, with Lakeside's expert installation, you're guaranteed precision and perfection. Visit our showroom or call Lakeside Renovation and Design today. Elevate your home with Infinity from Marvin, where strength meets style.
If you have a problem with the IRS, believe me, it's not going away on its own. The IRS never gives up. They have endless resources, so they control the game. Well, your tax problems can end. I'm attorney Lance Drury with the Drury Law Firm, a local tax resolution firm with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. I've handled thousands of IRS cases over the last 15 years. So when you hire me, you won't be speaking long distance or sending money to some TV pitchman that's riddled with consumer complaints. Your first visit is completely free and confidential, and I'll tell you on the spot exactly how much it will cost. So call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120. Or go to Lance, DRURYlaw.com. If you have IRS issues, you need a local attorney, you need me, Lance Drury.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Do you have $10,000, $20,000, or $30,000 in debt? Then listen to this. You may not be required to pay it all back.
I was drowning in debt.
I had over $36,000 in debt.
If I would have just made the minimum payments, it would have taken me 59 years to pay off.
Whether it's credit card, medical, or personal loan debt, National Debt Relief can help significantly reduce what you owe. In fact, debt relief payments can be 50% less than your monthly credit card payments. That's right, half as much as you're paying now.
National Debt Relief reduced my debt by over $27,000.
With National Debt Relief, you have a powerful team that knows how to talk to your creditors.
National Debt Relief, they got me out of debt.
More than 550,000 Americans have used National Debt Relief to reduce their debt. Call 800-649-6464 to see if you qualify to settle your debt for a fraction of what you owe. 800-649-6464. That's 800-649-6464.
Tony La Russa here. Men, are you running out of stamina rounding third base? If so, call my friends at Victory Men's Health in O'Fallon, Illinois. Scoring at home is important, just as important as crossing the plate with the winning run. VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
When will you vote? When are you planning on voting? Early, election day, or are you not voting? If you are not voting, then why are you voting in this poll? Let us know. It's the YouTube live chat poll. Let us know what you think about this question. And maybe, leave a comment if you're changing. Maybe you used to be on election day, you're voting early. Let us know. 1247. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
JerryKelly.com. 97.1 FM Talk. You're here, and so are St. Louis's conservative thought leaders. St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
I heard that you're settled down, that you found a girl and you're married now.
Wiggins! Oh! Monday Roundup! Yeah! This here's the wildest ride in the wilderness!
Man, I hope you're ready for this. It is August 19th.
Yeah.
And man, what a weekend. Start with, I'm just
say,
hyping it up.
128 days till Christmas.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Is it down? Are we in the 70s yet for days until election?
78.
78?
Mm-hmm.
I knew we were close. All right, 78 days. And that YouTube live chat poll, genuinely curious to hear what you're going to say about that. When will you vote? And have you changed? Things you missed over the weekend. This is the Monday Roundup. How about Caitlin Clark? Paying attention to Caitlin Clark?
Yeah.
Closely? Caitlin Clark achieved a WNBA milestone in the Indiana Fever's 92-75 win over the Seattle Storm on Sunday, breaking the rookie record for assists in a season already. However, something else happened in that game that looms over the Fever's remaining 12 games of the regular season. She picked up a technical foul midway through the third quarter for hitting the backstop behind the basket in frustration after missing a three-pointer.
Mm-hmm.
You're already aware of all this. Mm-hmm. You saw it.
Yes.
What did you think about the technical? Fair?
I don't know. I don't watch enough NBA to compare the WNBA to NBA attitude towards that. She was mad at herself. She was not taking anything out on the other team, her teammates, her coach, or most importantly, the officials. And she got mad and she went and wailed on the base of the hoop. I mean, should she have done that? I guess not, but
it was like a slap on the pad of it. It wasn't,
I mean, she was mad, but I mean, she didn't hit like the cameraman or the official. I don't really understand some of the things that people have done physically to Caitlin Clark that have not gotten that type of reaction. But like, don't you treat that basketball hoop that way.
That's kind of what I thought when watching it. So. However, after watching it a couple times, I'm like, you know what? The official is standing right there. Not that he was threatened by it, but he's watching the whole thing happen.
Well,
I could see. I could see
Good for him.
You know, I mean, but if it's like, it's an inbound play.
Do they want? I mean, figure out what you want, folks. Do you want these girls to be like the All-American Girls Baseball League, where it's like you're going to wear this skirt and you're going to learn how to sip tea and you're going to sit and cross your ankles over because a lady reveals nothing? That's what they say in the movie. I mean, is that what you want? Or do you want Caitlin Clark, who's breaking records left and right, to get a little fired up every once in a while? Caitlin Clark don't care. She had a career highlighting game. And she said in the press conference afterwards, she's like, I actually kind of appreciated the official. I wasn't mad at anybody when I did that. I thought it was, okay, fine, if you want to give me a tech for that. But it really fired me up, and that she ended up having a record-breaking game.
Yeah,
so she says in the post game, she's like, that's the fire that motivates me. That's the passion that I have. And she said, should I have channeled that a little bit better? Probably. But I use that to motivate me for the rest of the game. And then, so, I mean, I think it's weird that we're talking about it on this show this much already, but what do you want from these people? Do you want like excitement and passion, or do you want pinkies out? I don't know.
I would prefer the pinkies out.
Did you watch the game?
No.
Do you know who she plays for?
Yeah, the Indiana Fever.
And do you know what position she plays?
Power forward.
Do you know what her number is?
No.
Okay, that's like basic stuff.
No.
You're not the target demo.
No, I'm not.
My daughter is.
So you guys watch?
We pay attention.
Yeah.
We don't make. I mean, can't make time to watch the
Yeah.
Cardinals.
How are you going to watch all this?
I know all that. I read the stories. I watch the highlights.
So that's her 5th technical of the season.
Mm-hmm. She gets 7 and she gets suspended.
With only 12 games left, I wouldn't think that she's going to get 2 more, but you never know. Guess we'll see. How much are you relying on AI in your life these days?
As little as possible.
On purpose?
Very much so. In fact, there are likely places that I'm using artificial intelligence that I don't realize I'm using artificial intelligence, and should I find out that I was using AI, I would work to stop it.
Well, I've thought that the graphic world, where it's making album covers and it's making fake videos and stuff, has been impressive, but I haven't really seen it practical in everyday life yet.
That you know of.
I know of.
But that's my point. Like, it's likely way more prevalent than we know. We just don't realize it's AI.
This is an article from the New York Post where a guy has started to use AI in a way that I'm like, oh, okay, all right, I could see that. He gets a bunch of ingredients, goes home and just says the ingredients to AI and says,
what can I
put
make?
A meal together for me and make it as quick as possible. And he does it, and he does it multiple nights a week.
Probably how he dies. That's how they take over.
Make sure to put arsenic in soup.
Don't put arsenic in soup. Do you have arsenic? Who has arsenic?
Well, he has a lot of mice.
Here are my ingredients.
Yeah, he's poisoning them.
I'm speaking completely from a place of ignorance. Is arsenic something that is just around?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it's
feel
something
like
that maybe used to be around.
Only like in a cabin in the woods that you shouldn't go into.
Yeah.
With a lady going, ha, 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 inside.
Right.
You can only hear it. And you're like, Oh, I wonder what's going on in there.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know how much arsenic
is
was
going
in
on.
Hansel and Gretel, which is pretty much what you're referring to.
Who are they?
but it is something that seems to be like an old-fashioned poison that they don't really use anymore.
It's totally out of style.
It's great to name drop, though. It's fun. But this sounds like a very practical use for AI, and it's the kind of thing I've been waiting for. I just wanted to see what you guys' thoughts were on using AI in this fashion.
I used AI to create a chili recipe for a competition.
Nice.
I got
true.
second place.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah. He entered a chili cook-off.
Called it Chili GTP.
Yeah.
Or GPT.
GTP is funnier.
Chili JTT.
I love Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Yes, I still do. All right. RFK says he does not plan on backing Kamala Harris for president. This is in light of a bunch of stories from last week. And this is where I'm like, who's telling the truth here? Because the Harris campaign leaked a bunch of information to the Washington Post, which then was repeated all over the place, that RFK was looking for a cabinet position in turn for an endorsement.
I believe 0% of anything that Kamala Harris's campaign does.
Me too.
0%. I mean, there are things they're doing that are real and legit. I don't believe any of them. None of them. I believe none of it.
Yeah. Well, they haven't given us a track record of total honesty, and they're not exactly forthright with anything, especially the candidate herself. But RFK says, I have no plans to endorse Kamala Harris for president. I do have a plan to defeat her, which is what he's supposed to say. But ultimately, this is in light of the Harris campaign trying to get out ahead of him probably not planning on endorsing her at all anyway.
I'm telling you what, Trump needs to acquire RFK Jr., and Trump needs to make a deal with the Bidens.
Man, Joe Biden is a wild card in this race now, isn't he?
Make the deal with the Bidens. What does he need? He needs a pardon, and he needs to be a hero. That's what the man needs. Tell him to spill it, and then give it to him. You want to dismantle the Democrat Party for generations? I'm just saying, Joe Biden could be our guy. Do you have that on your bingo card? Let's take a quick break. Steve Moore, when we come back.
When you have Rhino Shield on your house, it does a couple of things for you. It beautifies the house, and it protects it from the harshest elements. And boy, do we see those here in the greater St. Louis area. You get instant curb appeal. It will stick to anything. Rhino Shield is the answer, no matter whether you're painting a home or a church or a business or a condo, because it's 100% waterproof. It takes care of the outdoor maintenance on whatever is on the outside of your home. The brick, the block, aluminum, steel, stucco. They can put this on with the 2 to 3 coat process. They're there about a week, and they do a great job. A lot of businesses have done it in the area. Several Firestones have done that. Vantage Credit Union over the years, Harlan Packaging down in DeSoto. Call Darren today and schedule your free estimate. 877-25-RHINO, easy to remember phone number, or go online today at 877-25-RHINO.com.
Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated, forlorn even, like your efforts are futile. And you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine. Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all of that. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, you can forget your frustrations because we find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Fantastic.
So, whether you need to hire 4, 40, or 400 people, get ready to meet first-rate talent. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Don't forget, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Finally, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Home values are sky high, and you have a ton of equity. Your financial advisor thinks the market is peaked. So if you're thinking about selling, it's time. Except for 2 things. High interest rates will burn you on a new home loan, and you're not ready to move. Savvy financial advisors suggest TrueHold's new Sell and Stay program. It's ingenious because they buy your home now while its value is high, but you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Smart, right? TrueHold will make you a solid cash offer, not a lowball offer like the others. It's based on your home's current value. The cash is yours to travel, pay off bills, or secure your retirement. And again, you can stay in your home with a comfortable lease. TrueHold covers property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. See how much Truehold will pay for your home today. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Possible movement on a Gaza ceasefire. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. After hours of meetings in Israel, Secretary of State Antony Blinken just announcing that Israel accepts a new proposal aimed at bridging gaps with Hamas on a ceasefire and hostage deal.
The next important step is for Hamas to say yes, and then in the coming days for all of the expert negotiators to get together to work on clear understandings on implementing the agreement.
He heads next to Egypt, where mediators plan to reconvene this week. But so far, Hamas has rejected the new proposal, accusing Israel of changing the terms of a previous framework. Pro-Palestinian protesters converging on Chicago for the start of the Democratic National Convention.
Kamala Harris's candidacy, while historic, does not alter the party's ongoing support for the Israeli genocide.
Activist Omar Yunus also accusing Harris of trying to silence protesters during her rallies. The Harris campaign focusing on domestic policy so far, including the economy. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson at a breakfast event for Michigan DNC delegates.
Let's make history by electing two champions as president and vice president to stand up for the interests of working people.
But Republicans argue high prices will continue if Harris wins. Florida Senator and Trump surrogate Rick Scott.
Here's a choice. Donald Trump is a business guy, understands how businesses work. Harris has no earthly idea how businesses work. Her vice president pick has no idea how businesses work.
Today, the former president will focus on energy issues in Pennsylvania, one of several battleground states he'll visit this week. Several towns under shelter-in-place orders in Connecticut, where 2 deaths are reported after flooding from heavy rain. Governor Ned Lamont.
We are filing for emergency declaration. Make sure we get to the front of the line.
The damage extending to other parts of the Northeast, causing travel delays at some airports and on rail lines. America is listening to Fox News.
Small business owners, we know finishing your to-do list can feel like climbing a mountain, but that mountain is also covered in banana peels. Then when something new gets added to your list, you're like, nope, I'm already climbing this huge, super slippery banana peel mountain of a to-do list. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy to manage your policy on our mobile app, so climbing that banana peel mountain feels more like a leisurely stroll. See if you can save on commercial auto insurance in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms and conditions.
You've got a Pepto predicament, Beach Bum.
Hey, we're heading down to the beach. You coming?
Yeah, Dad. You coming?
I had a little too much to eat at the resort buffet. I need a minute. Oh, you overdid it. And now your beach vacation is giving you belly waves. Undo it with Pepto.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Pepto Chewables provide fast 5-symptom relief so you can get back to making memories.
Let's go, Dad!
When you overdo it, undo it with Pepto. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Boy, oh boy, no complaints about our weather for the next couple of days. Lots of sunshine this afternoon and just plain nice for August. 82 for the high. Tonight, clear skies and great. 60 for the overnight low. 70s for evening plans. Tuesday, sunny and nice. 80. Wednesday and Thursday, sunny and nice. Right around 80 degrees. 90 plus, though, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. No rain in sight. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
If you're thinking of selling your home, I'm sure there are 2 things you want: certainty and the most money, right? Hi, it's Mark Cox, and if you've been listening to me for some time, you know the only agent I trust is Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, St. Louis real estate expert. Here's why she should be your first and only call when looking for an agent. Gloria doesn't make empty promises. No, she provides written guarantees. Now, what does this mean for you? Certainty. Now, certainty isn't the only thing you want. You also want the most money. Gloria is able to get her home sellers more money than the average agent because she already has the buyers. This is why Gloria will guarantee to sell your home at your agreed upon price, or she'll buy it. To get your guaranteed price, Call St. Louis real estate expert Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Your garage door is the largest piece of moving equipment in your home. When it needs help, call the experts at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Their certified technicians repair all brands of doors and openers, and you can even schedule evening and weekend service. Just call 314-781-5200 and always look for the red ribbon. It's your assurance you've got the genuine, the original overhead door, the most trusted garage door company in St. Louis since 1926. For same-day service, schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. 314-781-5200.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
The Focus Marines Foundation is here to help veterans transition from service to civilian life, and we're here to support them. This is Mark Cox inviting you to get involved in this month's Conservatives Care effort by visiting 971talk.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Brian was just making fun of me for tweeting out. I don't know if you were making fun of me, but you were laughing at the tweet that I sent out maybe last night, maybe this morning. It says, I don't think people like Kamala Harris. Is that pretty much what I said?
Quote, I don't think people like Kamala Harris.
Yeah, that's it.
Unquote.
I hate, I like want to block people when they say, that's it, that's the tweet. But that's it, that's the tweet.
I mean, it stands out. That's why I said it, is because I'm scrolling through Twitter, looking at latest news, and there's just that one line from you sitting in there with a lot of people who've commented.
Do you agree?
Yeah.
She's just like...
I do.
Those people, there's still people who are going to vote for her. It's not like... Listen. There are people who don't like Donald Trump either.
Whoa.
I know.
I'm going to tweet that.
I don't think people like Donald Trump.
There are some people who might not.
Again, I remind you, if you're ever in an uncomfortable situation, but you're trying to make friends, you go into that situation, you go, Donald Trump, am I right? And then you just go with whatever.
You could do that with Kamala Harris at this point, though. She's almost the inverse opposite because she's very unlikable.
I know, but I think that the people who support her are angry that they have to.
I agree.
Her angry, uncomfortable laugh that she does to just fill time when she's trying not to have to answer questions in workable ways.
You know how I know people don't like her, too? It's not just a feeling. It's not just a gut. It's more than a feeling. It's Chicago. No.
Is that it?
No,
that's
not it. That's not the tweet. No, it's because there's just too many jokes on jokes, and I'm like, I'm going to take the bait on all of them. It's because it's 28 days now, I think, maybe 29, without her doing any press. She's just reading from a teleprompter. People are just starting in the mainstream media to ask her to do interviews, and she's done no press conferences. She's not likable. That's evidence.
There is a little bit more of a sentiment since last weekend from people who are like, you're going to answer to this? She comes out with her economic plan, and she is not really being lauded for her economic plan, per se. So they kind of have questions about it. Whenever she goes out in front of people and she ends up having these kinds of discussions, they end up sounding a little something like this.
And that's what our election is about. Our election is about understanding
the importance of this beautiful country of ours in terms of what we stand for around the globe as a democracy. Woo! As a democracy.
Woo, girl.
We know there's a duality to the nature of democracy. On the one hand, incredible strength when it is intact. What it does for its people to protect and defend their rights, their liberty, and their freedom. Incredibly strong and incredibly fragile.
If you haven't had the opportunity to watch, look at how confident she is there at the end of saying the thing that she just said. If you watch any of these videos where she's speaking or she's, clearly like this is her moment, she's in a public space, she's out there for the purpose of being seen. Mr. Harris is always standing over her shoulder, just like emphatically nodding, just like you do to your child when they're singing at the recital and you're like, God love them, bless their heart.
And you got the part. Yes. Okay. Yes.
And then you're just nodding emphatically so that you're like trying to get their attention so they just see you and not everybody else going like this. What? Huh? And then you hope that it's over and it's done. And then they feel good about themselves and supported, that they feel loved and supported.
When she said strength, I literally got goosebumps.
Ew.
Because it was like, it's like that feeling whenever you see a lion just out in nature and the raw power of it. When she said strength, I got that same sense. There's a little bit of sarcasm for your Monday.
What did she just say? Counterpoint. Argue with that.
Democracy is a... Oh, so I'm supposed to argue against what she said. Okay.
You can argue for it, too. I don't care.
I'm trying to summarize what she said so I know how to respond. I think she said that democracy is both amazing, strong, and fragile, to summarize. Counterpoint.
I think that she was told that day she needed to work the word duality in.
And then when she got it, her husband was like, yes,
you did it. High five.
So counterpoint to democracy is amazing, it is strong, and it is fragile. You're a communist. You don't believe in these things.
I don't think it could be understated that her economic policies are going to be very problematic for...
Here in Jersey, Atlantic City. Who do you support?
Let's calm down. Calm
Trump
down.
for the win.
We're going to get to that in a little bit here. The economic policies that she put out, there are a lot of people who are going, what are you talking about? What are you doing here? This is not really what I think even Democrats want to end up hearing from their candidate. This is Sir Michael Singleton on CNN.
I think you will also see Republicans say that, to Ested's point, this is a continuation of Joe Biden's failed policies, which are not very popular on two significant fronts, immigration and the economic front. The vice president gave a speech which a lot of Democrats and progressives lauded as a great speech in terms of her plans on the economy. But our very own reporting showed that it would increase spending by $1.7 trillion over 8 to 10 years. How can the American people pay for that? The Washington Post editorial board called it gimmicks. And so I think Republicans still have an opportunity to continue to contrast, although it's going to be more difficult. But on the issues of policies, I think the Republican Party and conservatives, generally speaking, still have the advantage. And the polling suggests that we still have the advantage. Despite 28 weeks of incredible coverage of the vice president, this race, statistically speaking, is still tied.
It's a really great point by the CNN Republican strategist analyst talking about the very favorable coverage that Kamala has gotten. She comes out with her economic plan. People are calling it communism on X, and we want to ask a real financial expert what he thinks about it. So we always go to Steve Moore, Distinguished Fellow in Economics at the Heritage Foundation, Trump Economic Advisor, Kamanomics. Steve, what do we got?
Hey, good to be with you, Annie. And but look, this was a policy that came out on Friday that I was kind of shocked because it's very it's, she gets an F in economics. Let's put it like that. I mean, we tried these policies back in the 1970s. I know that was long before you were born,
I've
but
heard
not
of
me.
them.
But we tried price controls when we had, I think some of your listeners are probably old enough to remember, when Jimmy Carter and, Richard Nixon were president. And every time we imposed price controls, it just caused shortages. So the perfect example of this, and this is Economics 100, that in New York, and I don't know if you have price controls on rent control in St. Louis, but a lot of the major cities put in rent controls. And what happened was that they had the rent controls, and then sure enough, some people would get a $200 apartment, and then all of a sudden nobody built any more apartments or anything, and so it just became a total fiasco. And it turned out people were you had more homelessness because they put in place this really stupid policy. So I think the price controls are a bad idea. I heard someone right before I came on said, where are we going to get the money to pay for these crazy expenses, these crazy programs? She also wants to give $25,000 to a new home buyer. $25,000? Right. What are we getting next? Are we going to buy people their house for them with taxpayer money? I mean, it's just so absurd. And so I'm shocked that so many that anybody would actually endorse these policies because they've been such failures. And if you want to control inflation, get government spending under control.
We're speaking with Steve Moore right now. When I heard about the $25,000 for homes, it just immediately made me think about how there is guaranteed money from the federal government for student loans where the college, the university system, they always get paid. They're the ones who get paid. Everybody else is on the hook. And then the cost of education goes up and up and up and up because the money is always guaranteed there. If we're guaranteeing $25,000 for first-time home buyers, aren't the prices of those homes just going to go up $25,000?
Yeah, you get an A in economics yourself today. I mean, that's exactly right. That it's going to be all capitalized into the price of a home, and so you're going to have higher home costs. And look, the best way to lower costs of buying a new home is to lower interest rates, right? The mortgage rates are. Remember when Trump left office, the mortgage rate was 3%. Now it's I don't know what you play in St. Louis, but 6.5% to 7%.
Over double.
The mortgage rates have more than doubled, and that means your mortgage payment at a 30-year mortgage has almost doubled. And so why don't we do something about controlling government spending? Something neither party really wants to do, but get control of all this debt and the spending, and that would free up resources so people could buy a home. When
we listen to Kamala Harris's economic plan, and she talks about, price controls this and controls there and money and checks being handed out, it really starts to feel like the federal government owns everything, and then that we are permitted to participate when they choose to let us. Am I seeing that incorrectly?
That's a really interesting point you're making. Finished this morning writing my weekly column, and that I write for the papers. And it was about how Kamala and Tim Walz are trying to define themselves as the freedom candidates, that they're for freedom because they're for, freedom to have an abortion. They're for freedom to be safe from gun violence. They're for freedom to make a living and that kind of thing. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, freedom by definition is not big government. It's the opposite of big government. Your freedoms are taken away by government. They're not assigned. As our founding fathers said, just a little civics lesson for your listeners. It's the whole idea of government is to protect people's life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. That's what. It's not to hand out money. And so they've redefined freedom as entitlement. In other words, you're entitled to my money. Well, that might increase your freedom, but it reduces my freedom.
Yep. And somebody has to be the arbiter of that. And of course, the federal government or any kind of government really is always looking forward to stepping in to be that person. Before we let you go, Steve, I know that you have a connection to Chicago. I let myself live across the river in Illinois. I've lived under those oppressive policies in the state of Illinois. The DNC says, let's put it all in Chicago. What do you make of that decision?
Well, here's an amazing statistic that, and if people want to get our hotline, please sign up for it. It's free. Just go to unleashprosperity.com. And our lead piece today was about what's happened to Chicago, and it's heartbreaking to me. I mean, as I've told you, I practically grew up in Wrigley Field and love the city of Chicago, but it's if you compare the U.S. Census Bureau numbers from 1920 to 2020. the United States, the city of Chicago has fewer residents today than it did 100 years ago. That's pretty amazing.
That's
now, why does that
wild.
happen? It's wild. And why does that happen? Because A, the schools stink. B, the taxes are too high. C, the crime is too high. D, there's too many, homeless people and so on. I mean, it's just the city is being ruined by progressive left-wing policies. And, as you probably, many of your listeners know, the city of Chicago and the residents in their infinite wisdom basically elected a Marxist as their mayor.
Yeah.
And that's not making things better. It's being worse. And you see people like Ken Griffin and the billionaires are moving out. And, and by the way, who are the victims of not fighting crime? Who are the victims of the bad schools? It's the very minorities that they say they stand for.
If I could ask you one last question before we let you go, Steve. If you were in Governor J.B. Pritzker's shoes and you had the ability to work on the economic situation facing Illinois, is there an obvious place that you would start? Is it fixable? Is it beyond repair?
Yeah, that's a layup for me. I mean, Illinois should eliminate its state income tax. We have 9 states that have no income. And by the way, Missouri should do the same thing. Get rid of your income tax. Income taxes are poison. And there are 9 states, including Florida, Texas, Tennessee, South Dakota, Nevada, that have no income tax. And guess what? Those are the states that are growing the fastest. Do you think that's just a coincidence?
No, I love it. I vote for you for governor. There we have it.
All right.
Steve, thank you so much.
Take care. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. Can you imagine? Can you imagine running for governor and being like, I propose that we have no income tax? The Democrats in the supermajority in Springfield would be apoplectic. Sounds like a good plan. Let's go for that. Let's make that happen. I need a governor candidate who will make that happen. Steve Moore with us. Always great to speak with him. He is a Trump economic advisor, one of the top ones, did so in 2016, is currently doing so during this campaign. You can find him in his book, Govzilla, How the Relentless Growth of Government is Devouring Our Economy and Our Freedom. Great to have him on here with us. And a good segue into our next conversation. Bryce Hill is going to join us. He's been with us many times before. He's a senior research analyst at the Illinois Policy Institute. We're going to get a little bit more honed in on Chicago, the city that the Democrats choose to make their home in for a week to make their case to the American people. If you want to know what Democrat policies look like in action, you peek over into Chicago, Illinois and say, I'd like some more, or hard pass. Let us know what you think on the YouTube live chat poll today about when you'll be voting. Illinois has one of those long voting periods. I think it's 40 days from Election Day. When will you vote? Are you going to vote early? Are you going to vote on Election Day? Or you're not voting at all, which would be a very ironic vote to cast in this poll. Let us know what you think. Annie Fry YouTube channel, Bryce Hill, when we come back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
AirComfortService.com. You're a quick click away from learning about how you can get an AeroSeal duct sealing done at your home. I appreciate this service so much that they did in my house, where they came in and they measured the ventilation in my home, all the vent work that is there, how much air was seeping out of it as the cooled air was being pushed through, or even the hot air was being pushed through to heat and cool my home. It turned out quite a bit. It was like I had a big gaping hole in the middle of my vent work, and all of this energy that I was paying for to heat and cool the air, it was just escaping where it didn't belong. Therefore, it wasn't getting to the second floor of our house. It wasn't being dispersed equally, and I had to run the HVAC system longer. Get rid of that problem for your house and reach out to Air Comfort Service, 314-513-0091, 314-513-0091. Air Comfort Service will pick up the phone, mention you heard about the Annie Fry Show, and say, I'm interested in learning more about the duct sealing that you can do in my home to help me save on my energy costs. All of this is online at aircomfortservice.com.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and Clear Skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Attention Missouri Medicaid members. If you need assistance with daily living, you can receive a free service from Freedom Care in your own home from a loved one. With Freedom Care, you decide who provides your daily care with help preparing meals, bathing, laundry, transportation, and more. A family member or friend that gets paid instantly after every shift. It's all funded by Medicaid and 100% free to you. Call now to check your eligibility. New to Medicaid, the Freedom Care family will guide you through enrollment, making it stress-free for patients and caregivers. With over 5,000 five-star Google reviews, we've perfected at-home care for Medicaid members and caregivers. This service is free to you through Medicaid, and with our InstaPay app, caregivers are paid instantly. So go to freedomcare.com or call 314-557-7915. 314-557-7915. 314-557-7915.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. 9 out of 10 homes are under-insulated. Is yours? Did you know that there's an R value associated with insulation? To find out your R value or for a free insulation estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
J. Peter Zane, editor at Real Clear Investigations.
If you think Trump is Hitler, and they do, then it is fine to lie because he is so dangerous, and that's what they believe.
Weekdays from 3 to 6. You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
I must admit, I can't explain any of these thoughts racing through my brain. It's true. Baby, I'm howling for you. All right. There's something wrong with this plot. The actors here have not got a clue. Baby, I'm howling for you.
Can we expect to hear from you?
Tuesday night, prime time, I get an opportunity to tell people about Illinois and more importantly about the ticket and why we're all so excited about Kamala Harris and Tim Walz.
So then we watch, I don't know if these two, Jen Psaki and JB Pritzker, take a shot of something and then they high five and it's so awkward. And then Jen Psaki tells us that drink does not taste well. That was from JB Pritzker, who is welcoming all of us through our television screens to the DNC, to Chicago. And, you know, we talk about Illinois quite a bit on this show, of course, myself being a resident, Brad and Ryan as well. And we thought, let's get to the real story of what's going on in Chicago. And let's understand why we see the rouge that is going to be put on the city. It's a beautiful city. It should be the best city in the country. Let's talk about what actually is the experience of the people who are living there right now. So we bring on to the show Bryce Hill. He's a senior research analyst at Illinois Policy Institute. You can go to illinoispolicy.org, a wonderful resource for information for things that are taking place in the state of Illinois. Bryce, welcome back. It's good to have you here.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
You know, I want to give you the opportunity to kind of have the floor here and talk about what kind of economy right now Chicago is dealing with. How do people who work there feel about walking to work, in the daytime? Tell us about Chicago.
Sure. So I think that first you got to say it's no guarantee that somebody's going to be walking to work. We have the highest unemployment rate in the nation of any large city. So that's going to be front and center. Hundreds of thousands of people, almost 100,000 people out of work, more people out of work than when Mayor Brandon Johnson took office. He ran on becoming the working man's mayor, making Chicago the most pro-worker city in the nation. Unfortunately, fewer people are working now than in the past year. So that's number one. Number two is you might notice fewer and fewer people. The city is at its low lowest level of population in the past 100 years. We've seen 9 consecutive years of population decline. The population shrunk by almost 130,000 over the past 9 years. So there's fewer people, there's lots of unemployment, and just generally residents don't feel that safe. Crime has spiked in recent months, especially some sorts of crimes like carjackings. So people are on edge. It's not necessarily a super friendly Chicago, whether it comes for workers or the safety of families, and that's going to be on full display here in the next week or so.
I mean, whenever it comes to election time and we're talking about statewide races, which Illinois is not dealing with this cycle, we do ours in the midterm races. People, I'm downstate, obviously, in like southwestern Illinois. People downstate is very subjective based on where you live. If you're not in Cook County, basically. But people get real grumbly about Chicago, and everything that the whole state does goes by the way of what Chicago wants to do. But I'm quick to remind those people, 63% or something of Illinois' population does live in Chicago, and it is consequential, and it should be a great city. I mean, I want, as a downstater, for Illinois to have a Chicago that we can boast about and brag about and be proud about. And it just seems as though the policies are keeping it back and keeping it down so incredibly much. Are there policies that could be implemented that could make Chicago take a dramatic turn and start to attract people into the city?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that Chicago's problems are very emblematic of, what happens throughout the rest of the state. So you have a large population center in Chicago, and that kind of bleeds out throughout the rest of the state. So they're really amplified in Chicago. And that is, a problem with crime and how we deal with crime and how we treat police officers. There's a lot of police vacancies. That was a very big, decisive point of contention between Paul Vallis and Brandon Johnson during the mayoral election last year. So that's number one. Number two is the high tax environment. We have the second highest property taxes in the nation as a state in Illinois, and those property taxes are often highest in Chicago and in the communities immediately surrounding Chicago. And that's emblematic of a very expensive bureaucratic government system with a large state government and also 7,000 overlapping layers of local governments. A lot of that is driven by the state's state and local pension crisis, which are driving up property tax bills, crowding out funding at the state level for departments and being sent to schools and things like that. So all of these things are luckily policy choices that we made. So unfortunately, they're self-inflicted, but the good news is that those things can be changed. Yeah. When you look at where people are moving, they're not moving, cross country for the weather. We lose more residents to our neighboring states than anywhere else. So people aren't moving, to go to Florida or California or Texas just for the weather. People want to be in the Midwest where their homes are, where they made their lives and where their families are. We just make that impossible for them to choose to stay in Illinois. So the good news is that can be reversed if we start making incremental steps to walk back our property tax burden, make it an affordable place for families to choose to live and for businesses what they do best, which is hire people and give people opportunities. So there are some very immediate steps to be taken if we can muster up the political gumption to move in that direction.
We're speaking with Bryce Hill. He's a senior research analyst at the Illinois Policy Institute, online at illinoispolicy.org. Bryce, I don't know what kind of polling Illinois Policy does or what kind of research you have on this, but you can say these things to me and they're like obvious solutions to the problem. Like, we're headed in this direction and it's going very poorly. Why don't we shift directions and do, policy B and see how that works? But I'm reminded that oftentimes the people who are elected to these positions are not really honestly trying to solve the same problems that we are. They don't mind a little collateral damage in an area that we might think is a priority because they have other priorities of their own. Are any of the things that you're talking about right now popular enough issues that you think that the people of Illinois and the people of Chicago alike could hitch their wagon to and maybe get one of these things through to their elected officials or to new candidates who might run for these positions to make a real difference in the lived experience in Illinois?
Absolutely. I think there are a lot of bright spots here, especially recently. So number one, we have the most unpopular mayor in Chicago history. So right now, Brandon Johnson's polling numbers are drastically low. And that presents real opportunity for Chicagoans to voice their frustrations. And across the board, across party lines, crime and public safety are by far and away the number one issue that people have voiced real concern over. So there's plenty of broad support there, kind of uniting against Brandon Johnson, I would say. But the second is we've seen record numbers of people interested in running more traditionally uncontested races in the Chicago area and all throughout the state. So giving voters a real choice and actually presenting two different options is becoming more and more common. We saw it last election cycle. This upcoming election cycle, we're going to see more candidates running and challenging seats that have traditionally been uncompetitive. And that takes time to build, a campaign and some groundswell there to make a previously uncompetitive district competitive again. But that's starting to happen. We're starting to see that become more and more popular. And the last is there is some real talk about pension reform and what that would mean for property taxes. Just last week, Barrington Township, a suburb of Cook County, passed a referendum that they're going to actually put it on the November ballot and ask their residents, there's 16,000 residents within the township, they're going to get a voice and say, do you support this? Constitutional pension reform that would allow for property taxes or for your local tax dollars to go towards investments that you care about in your community. So voters are going to get a choice this upcoming election, and we're having those conversations with other townships around the state and Chicago and throughout Cook County and the Chicagoland area. So I think that there are some real bright spots and some things to be positive about moving forward here.
Bryce Hill speaking with us right now with the Illinois Policy Institute. Last question before we let you go. While the country has their eyes fixed on Chicago, you could probably tune in to any one of your particular favorite news outlets, and you're going to get a version of what is going on there. In sum total, what do you want people to know about the city of Chicago and Illinois in its current state of affairs right now?
Yeah, I would say that the current city of Chicago, the picture that you're going to see, or if you're in town especially, is, we should be taking note of where the Democratic Party is choosing to have their convention and what the results of those policies have been. Whether you look at the state level for Governor Pritzker, we have a recent piece out detailing every single economic variable and education variable and how those metrics have fallen. We document the city of Chicago and its population decline and its unemployment woes. And both of these things really culminate in residents voting with their feet. When people are choosing to move out and you're losing population, and that's solely because more people are leaving than are coming in, that should be a really key, bright, flashing sign for the people who are tuning in about where these policies lead and the kinds of environments they create. So if I could say one thing, it would be to pay attention to how people are choosing to vote with their feet more than anything else.
Yeah, it's such an important thing for people to understand. And I know the Illinois Policy Institute's always working hard on putting the numbers to back up those thoughts and opinions. Bryce, thank you for being with us today. It's good to speak with you again.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you so much. Bryce Hill of the Illinois Policy Institute. You can find him online at illinoispolicy.org and learn more about the research that they put behind these particular statements and really get a good picture of the direction that Illinois is headed. And they always have good ideas behind solutions to the problems that maybe you and I identify as equal problems. Not everybody else does, of course. All right, let's take a quick break. Get Ryan back in studio with us. You have been listening so far to, in the 12 o'clock hour, Brandon Straka was with us. He is the Walkaway campaign founder. Had a great conversation with him about 1225, hearing about his initial step into the Walkaway movement when he left the Democrat Party. And then, of course, his experience as somebody who was there on January 6th, but not in the Capitol on January 6th. He told us the whole story at 1225, and you can check that on the Annie Fry Show podcasts, on the Odyssey app. You can check them there as well. You can always stream along with us and vote today's YouTube live chat poll. When will you vote in this November election? Will you vote early? Will you vote on Election Day, or are you not voting at all? Annie Fry YouTube channel. Come vote. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
But whenever I get work done around my house, it's always the best when somebody goes, oh, you need this done? I got a guy. Let me give you a guy. It's the same is true of restaurants. If somebody says to me, oh, you ever been to this restaurant? You really need to try it. That means a lot to me. I want to try that for my next date night. I'm not sure how Andrea's has consistently been that for so long, because usually it's a new restaurant. Oh, yeah, I got to try this. Andrea's been around since 1978, and they still have that thing where people talk about them. Oh, have you been to Andrea's? It's such a neat restaurant, and the food is amazing. They're famous, of course, for their steak sauce. Since 1978, Andrea's steak sauce has been on steaks throughout the country, and more throughout the world, people are finding out about it. But it's still got that kind of grassroots campaign for the restaurant. So if you haven't been to Andrea's restaurant, make that your next date night, make it your next occasion, and have the best steak you've ever eaten in your life, especially if you've never been there. Andrea's Steakhouse, Andreas.com.
August is a great month to save money with Chesterfield Fence and Deck in your next beautiful outdoor project. Mark Cox here. For this month, you can get 20% off your completed outdoor project for my friends at Chesterfield Fence and Deck, and what great work they do. Lots of craftsmanship and pride because they've been at this since 1968. It is the sign you have the very best. If you have their sign in your yard, here's the deal. They love to come out and give you free estimates. They love to come out and help you with project design because, let's face it, not all of us know exactly what we want. But, boy, if you see it in a picture and they've got an extensive digital photo gallery, then you know when you see it what you want in your backyard. They've got beautiful fences and decks, and they've got pergolas and screen rooms and custom sunrooms. You'll love working with Chesterfield Fence and Deck, highly rated by the Better Business Bureau. Go to ChesterfieldFence.com.
At Odyssey, we believe in casting a wide net to create a diverse and inclusive workforce, as we value the power of community and encourage local organizations to help us in referring qualified applicants to our stations. If you're a community organization interested in receiving our vacancy information, simply email equalemployment@odyssey.com. You'll be directly notified of our open positions. Again, that's equalemployment@odyssey.com. And for our listeners, we invite you to visit odysseyinc.com/careers. There, you'll find an online listing of job openings at all Odyssey radio stations.
Are you ready to smell better naked? I'm Dr. Shannon Klingman, the OBGYN creator of Lumi, the whole body deodorant that's clinically proven to control odor for 72 hours on pits, feet, privates, and beyond. It's pH optimized to safely and effectively control odor anywhere you have it, but wish you didn't. Plus, it's proven to work better than a shower with soap alone. Whether you shower twice a day or 3 times a week, Lumi works better. And who doesn't want zero body odor? With over 200,000 5-star reviews, I'm so sure you're going to love it, or you can return it for free.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code BETTER and get 15% off your first purchase with code BETTER, like the Lumi Starter Pack, Acidified Body Wash, or new Lumi Plus Sweat Control. That's LUME Deodorant.com, code BETTER for 15% off your first purchase. Love it or return it for free. That's LUME Deodorant.com, code BETTER to save 15% today.
More good news for Frederick Roofing, voted best roofing company by the St. Louis Post-Dispatch.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
314-645-2000. When do you plan on voting this year? One of the options is I don't. I'm not going to vote. So let us know if it's you're not going to vote. Are you going to vote early or are you going to vote on Election Day? Which one of those three is you this year?
Meet the people who are going to vote in this poll, but not in the election.
Me too. So if you could stop by our studio, we all want to meet you. You're so neat. 142. That's the YouTube live chat poll, by the way. 142. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
You've got thoughts. Did you know you also have a microphone? Listen to 97.1 on the Odyssey app and click the microphone to leave a voice message. Whatever's on your mind. Let us know by clicking the microphone in the Odyssey app.
Take a seat, right over there, sat on the stairs, stay or leave. The cabinets are bare, and I'm unaware of just how we got into this
This
mess.
is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
So pull me closer, why don't you pull me close? Why don't you come on over? I can't just let you go. just meet me in the middle? I'm losing my mind just a little. So why don't you just meet me in the middle? In the middle, baby.
Is it Maren Morris and Zed? Doesn't even sound real.
Maren Morris and Zed.
Ryan just arbitrarily was like, my life wouldn't have been much different if it weren't for Miley Cyrus or something like that.
If Miley Cyrus had never been in it.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, but this isn't Miley Cyrus.
Well, I stand by my statement.
I know.
though.
You didn't retract anything.
It's just throwing shade at her for the sake of throwing shade at her.
For my entire life that song has existed, I thought that was Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, I could tell. Also, I bet she's crushed.
Nah, she's crushing on her wrecking ball.
That's not her either.
Oh, no. Yes, it is.
Gotcha.
You had me for a second,
I
though.
know.
Like, no, I've seen her on the wrecking ball.
That's how you knew. That's how you knew.
That is how I knew.
You have seen that video.
Yes, I have.
How come?
It was popular, and I'm in the news.
You're popular?
No, I'm not in the news. I'm in the news industry, and therefore I had to report on that story.
You don't have to report on that story.
I did.
No,
I was
you
like,
didn't.
oh gosh, here we go.
No,
Got to
you
report on
didn't.
this gross
There's
music video.
No professional obligation
Yeah.
whatsoever for you. Like, sorry, honey, I'll be right there. I'm doing work. I'm doing the work.
Yeah, that's what I got to do.
It's the same thing Kamala Harris does.
Where were you working whenever that video dropped?
I don't want to know.
I think probably here.
Can we
Not
not?
sure.
Can we not?
Oh, great. I got to watch the new Nicki Minaj video. She's in a bath. Ugh. That was here. That was last week.
I got nothing. So you boys finish this up and then let me know when I can get back on my own show.
Brad, can I just text you whenever I am a little weirded out by something I do feel like I need to report on, but that I maybe shouldn't be looking at as a Christian?
Why don't you just do what?
You are supposed to text me anytime you're going to report on something so that I can give you the okay or tell you, no, that's too weird.
Yeah, that's actually why Brad got the job. We had to hire a pastor.
Yep.
YouTube live chat poll on the Antifry YouTube channel. We are, I was just looking here, 5 subscribers away from 8,400 subscribers. So thank you to everybody who has come and signed up to be a part of the Antifry Show family on YouTube. Our poll for today is, when will you vote? Early election day or not voting? This isn't like some statement. It's just a fact, but maybe it is a statement.
It always has been a statement. Well, in the last couple of years it has. I have never, ever voted early in my life.
That was going to be my first question. Have either of you ever voted early?
Yes.
I have too.
I've tried, but the line was so long I went away and I came back on election day.
But you came back.
I did come back. But this year, I'll tell you why I'm going to vote early. I'm going to try to anyway, as long as the line allows it. Is because when we were doing a remote appearance, and we were one of the appearances we've done this year, we were talking to the head of St. Clair or Madison County's GOP party. And
Michael Butler?
I don't remember. I just remember
Ray Wesley?
Yep, it was them. It was one of them.
Wonderful people. You should get to know them.
And we were interviewing one of them, and they were talking about, and maybe they both said this because it's true no matter where you are, they spend so much less money on you when you vote early.
Yeah. They don't have to go get your vote. They don't have to make sure that you show up.
They don't keep having to send you stuff in the mail to make sure that you're going to show up. Because if you're a reliable Republican voter, they want to make sure that you're there.
Bank that vote.
So they're spending mailer money on you all the time. If you vote early, they can save that money and go after somebody who may not actually show up to vote. And I know I will, so I'm going to try to vote early.
I want to, once voting opens in Illinois, I want to, meet people somewhere and walk with them to the polls.
That's awesome. Let's do that.
And then if you want to bring people to come hang out and go with us, then, I mean, I'm a Republican in Illinois, so I don't think I can vote every time. But I think that we should do that in Madison County, St. Clair County, or whatever counties are listening that want to have us come out. I don't know how much early voting you can do like that in Missouri. You can vote early, you can vote absentee, but it's not like Illinois, where it's like 40 days out. It's the same as Election Day. So I think I want to do it. I think I said this in the midterms, and it just didn't happen. But we should do it.
It's a great idea, and it's something that we, so many elections at the top. There's big margins. when you get down to the lower elections, it's not that many people that decide these things.
Yeah, and things happen, and you just don't end up going there. You intended to. You meant well. Didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're interested in that, let me know. When will you vote? You're intending to vote early.
As early as I can. I don't know when early voting starts in
40
Illinois.
days out from...
40 days and 40 nights?
I don't think they exclude the nights or count them twice.
Then I'll try to within the first week.
I think we should. We don't vote in the same places, so we would have to go to different.
Yeah.
But I think if it's countywide, like Madison County, when I voted early, I went to the county seat, which is in Edwardsville on Main Street, and you just go into the county building and you do your thing.
Yeah, with early voting, it matters a lot more about the county that you live in than the precinct you vote on the day. So we might be able to do that.
When I went in to early vote with my husband, to Madison County, this ended up being a thing. I'm pretty sure I talked about this on the air, but I'll talk about it now. We go into early vote. We were going to be out of town for something, and my husband and I are the only people anywhere in the area other than the two, I guess they're poll watchers or whatever, and there's a Republican and there's a Democrat. And my husband and I have discussed going in. He asked me some questions about stuff. I told him, I think at the time it was a primary. It was a primary because it was just Republicans. We pulled a Republican ballot. And I had my people who I wanted to vote for on my phone. And so I had my phone out, and my husband standing next to me at the ballot thing next to me turns and asks me a question, and I had my phone in my hand. And this woman chastised me. You can't use phones. And I'm like, I can't use my phone to vote? And she goes, you're not supposed to. I go, can I or can't I? Is there a law against this? And she's like, well, you're not supposed to. We don't want you talking to each other, and you can't use your phone. And I said, so I'm not allowed to use my phone? She's like, we really would prefer you not to. And I'm like, with all due respect, am I allowed to or not? And she's like, well, you're allowed to, but we really, and she just kind of kept repeating herself. So I continued to use my phone because that's where I had all my stuff written that I wanted to vote on. And then after the fact, she didn't want me talking to my husband. And she said it was electioneering for me to have a conversation with my husband, speaking out loud in a polling place about who people should vote for. Now, if the room was full of people, and I'm like, it's really important that you vote for Joe Smith in Ward 2, blah, blah, blah. Right. I don't really know what the specific rules are about it, but I was whispering to my husband, the man who I sleep with, and he was asking me questions about things that we had just talked about before. I think it was maybe on some sort of resolution, and they were like, and I'm looking around me like, who are we talking to here? What kind of danger is happening? Listen, I talked to him in the privacy of our own homes. You should meet the people who I talk to every day. But she was real particular about it. And then when I left, the person above her came out to talk to me about it and was like, I don't know if I have no idea if they knew that I have a show or anything like that. But it turns out, A, you can use your phone. B, I can have a private conversation with my husband. And they were just incredibly aggressively pushy about it. And the only thing that I could think about, and I can't prove this to be true, but I went in as a primary voter and pulled a Republican primary thing. And sure enough, the person who I identified, know this to be true, that was all up in my stuff was the Democrat poll watcher. And I was just thinking, it's a Republican primary ballot. I'm going to vote for all the Republicans here. What do you... I just didn't understand it all. It was hostile. It was aggressive. It made me uncomfortable. I was thinking about, the 80-year-old grandma who shows up with her piece of paper. Or maybe grandma sat down, I say 80, 90. That's a lot of... If we're going to elect an 80-year-old to be the president, I hope. I was thinking about the grandma who has, her piece of paper or something like that, or maybe a text message that she pulls up and has what she talked about with her child or son, daughter, whatever. And I just thought, wow, this is just not the experience you're supposed to have. And if you are in a situation where you vote early and have that experience, you can kind of do something about it. You can talk about it. You can address it in a way where if you go on election day and the lines are long and people are doing those types of things, you just are kind of trying to get in and get out, and you take what comes at you. And also, be a poll watcher if you can, please, because the other side is doing it.
Man, you know what's cool is the last 4 years-ish, I have seen more poll watchers in Illinois, in my precincts where I vote, than I've ever seen before. And I can tell exactly why they're there, because they're wearing hats with eagles and flags all over them, and I'm like, yeah, all right, thanks for being here, man. And some of them actually listen too.
You do not have to be a poll watcher in the area that you vote. You could go to Peoria and watch the polls there. You could go to East St. Louis and watch the polls there. You can go to anywhere, but you need to get in contact with your county Republicans to figure out where's the best place. But we need all hands on deck. I mean, honestly, I tweeted out, I don't think that people like Kamala Harris. As a basic statement, I don't think she's likable. I don't think that she can win on her own. You got to show up and watch the polls. You have to be there. You have to be participating in this so that you can have confidence that it went the way it was supposed to go. And what I mean by that is however the votes dictate, whatever the votes dictate, one vote, one person, that's the way it needs to come down to. And then whatever happens, happens. There's no way that after this election that the side that loses, either side is going to believe it. It's just not going to happen. Either side has believed that they fairly lost, honestly, for as long as I can remember. Maybe McCain did because he got trounced. But people do not have confidence in it, so you have to participate in the system.
If you want to join and be a poll watcher, definitely consider East St. Louis.
Yes.
That would be a great place to add more people who want to see free and fair elections.
Go to St. Clair County and talk to the St. Clair County Republicans about how you can help. I have every intention of going to Wisconsin. I think I'm going the first weekend of October, and I'm going to try to chase ballots there. I've talked a little bit with some of the county Republican folks. It's a tricky thing to take time away from trying to get the word out for local elections with that. But if you have an interest in that, I signed up through TP Action, Turning Point Action. You can check that stuff out as well. It's called Chase the Vote. I'm going. Let's take a quick break. I cannot wait to talk to you about Queer Fat Club when we come back, Ryan. This one I pulled for you. Thought you'd be interested in this topic. You ready? Get yourself together. We'll be right back.
It's summertime. That means backyard barbecues, and you need to leave that all up to Grill Master Tony's Barbecue for some of the best food you've ever eaten. Here's the deal. He's having a summertime pork fest. That means you get pulled pork, pork steaks, or baby back ribs with potato salad, coleslaw, or broccoli bacon salad with bread and the sauce. And it's so easy to order for a group of at least 10 people, up to 500. Just go online to grillmastertony.com.
The 2024 Feel the Love program is here, and nominations are now open. Every year, we receive stories of deserving neighbors who made a positive impact in your community. Your nominations help us return the favor by providing them with new life-changing heating or cooling systems. If you know a teacher, first responder, veteran, or hometown hero in need of healthy and comfortable air, nominate them today at feelthelove.com. That's feelthelove.com.
Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan. If you are looking to lower that interest rate that you had to get when they were super duper high, they've come down a little over a point maybe from their highest highs. You need Stewie, and he can walk you through everything that has to do with the Bagel Loan so you can feel very confident, just like I did, in a Bagel Loan mortgage refinance. I did it twice as I was talking to you about rates being super, super low and going lower. I did that 2 times because the rates just continued to drop, and I locked it in. I got a great rate right now. I'm glad I did. But for a lot of people who have had to purchase, had to move, I'm looking to build myself, you're going to have to enter into one of these rates if that's the situation your life is in right now. Still make sure you get yourself the best possible financial situation with a Bagel Loan only with Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage. Call or text 314-324-4440, 314-324-4440, and tell them Annie sent you. Google the Bagel Loan at MLS number 226715.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness One for many years, Saturdays and Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 4 times a week. Yes, 4 times every weekend. Saturday at 10 a.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness One. Now 4 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
Hey contractors, it's Andrea and Scott at Best Buy Flooring.
If you haven't been shopping with us, you owe it to your customers and yourself to check out Best Buy Flooring.
We can meet all flooring needs at the lowest prices in town. Check out our huge selection of carpet tiles, luxury vinyl plank, luxury vinyl tiles, sheet vinyl, ceramic, hardwood, and laminate.
Come see us at our 3 convenient locations, North County, South County, and O'Fallon, Illinois. Open 7 days a week, including at South County. Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy Flooring.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
He's getting ready to finish passing the torch. On Lisa Brady, Fox News. On day 1 of the Democratic National Convention, President Biden will be prime time, expected to explain his decision to exit the race weeks after an Oval Office address about it. Fox's Jackie Heinrich is at the DNC in Chicago.
This is the first time that he will be addressing a room full of lawmakers since the launch of his re-election campaign at the State of the Union. And the vibes are getting heavy in here. Elected Democrats, surrounded by media in this room, can't escape questions about what the party did to Biden, because tonight, and only tonight, is about him. After his speech, he's getting out of town, and he'll be thousands of miles away when Pelosi and Obama speak later this week.
The big night for Vice President Kamala Harris is Thursday, but she and running mate Tim Walz are already the nominees after a virtual roll call vote earlier this month. Former President Trump will spend this week visiting several battleground states, beginning today in Pennsylvania, focusing on the economy. Wisconsin Senator and Trump surrogate Ron Johnson says Harris thinks more government is the solution.
And you can tell right now by what very few proposals that Kamala Harris has put on the table, she doesn't have a clue.
Johnson says a price gouging crackdown is price control that will backfire. Secretary of State Blinken says Israel accepts a new proposal aimed at bridging gaps with Hamas on a Gaza ceasefire. But Hamas says Israel changed the terms of a previous proposal. Pro-Palestinian protests already underway outside the Democratic convention aimed at sending a message to the new nominee.
Tens of thousands of people are protesting this very event, taking to the streets to call out the war in Gaza, calling Kamala Harris, quote, killer Kamala, and using anti-Semitic language that calls for the end of Israel. Protesters threatening to hold their vote with the hopes to persuade Harris to be outwardly more progressive.
Fox Business's Madison Allworth in Chicago. America is listening to Fox News.
Small business owners, we know finishing your to-do list can feel like climbing a mountain, but that mountain is also covered in banana peels. Then when something new gets added to your list, you're like, nope, I'm already climbing this huge, super slippery banana peel mountain of a to-do list. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy to manage your policy on our mobile app, so climbing that banana peel mountain feels more like a leisurely stroll. See if you can save on commercial auto insurance in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms and conditions.
You've got a Pepto predicament, Beach Bum.
Hey, we're heading down to the beach. You coming?
Yeah, Dad. You coming?
I had a little too much to eat at the resort buffet. I need a minute. Oh, you overdid it. And now your beach vacation is giving you belly waves. Undo it with Pepto.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Pepto Chewables provide fast 5-symptom relief so you can get back to making memories.
Let's go, Dad!
When you overdo it, undo it with Pepto. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Boy, oh boy, no complaints about our weather for the next couple of days. Lots of sunshine this afternoon and just plain nice for August. 82 for the high. Tonight, clear skies and great. 60 for the overnight low. 70s for evening plans. Tuesday, sunny and nice, 80. Wednesday and Thursday, sunny and nice, right around 80 degrees. 90 plus, though, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. No rain in sight. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
At Lakeside Renovation and Design, our secret sauce isn't just the tools we use or the materials we choose. It's our people. We're not just builders. We're local craftsmen, highly skilled in our trades. Our team takes immense pride in transforming homeowners' visions into reality. We're not just in the business of remodeling. We're in the business of making homes more beautiful, comfortable, and valuable. What sets us apart? Integrity and honesty. Our craftsmen exceed expectations because we care. Lakeside, where every nail, every cut, every detail is a testament to our commitment to you.
I want to talk to you about the Retirement Advisory Group and how this might be the key to letting that worry go. That has to do with retirement. That has to do with making sure that you did enough and you've worked really hard and you feel like I did everything I could. Gosh, I hope it's enough. When you partner with Bob and Tammy Kershaw and Thomas Helbig of the Retirement Advisory Group, you get access to that worry-free retirement that you've always hoped for because you're going to fill in all of those gaps where you have the I don't knows with, okay, now I get it. That's what they're going to do at the Retirement Advisory Group. And when you fill in those gaps with knowledge and information, then you have a plan, and then you don't have to worry anymore. You don't have that fear any longer. The Retirement Advisory Group with Bob and Tammy Kershaw and Thomas Helbig, this family-owned and operated business is there to make sure that your retirement that you have had, decades of time saving for is going to work for you. They're going to get you a personalized structured income plan that serves your purposes. Set up your free appointment today, 314-993-9494, 314-993-9494. Find them online at retirementkey.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
At Onder Law, we deliver big judgments for the little guy. Onder Law takes on the biggest industries and holds them accountable. Call today for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
It's time to get your body in shape for the warm weather, and Victory Men's Health can help. Mark Cox here for my friends at Victory. They've got semaglutide for ladies and men, and all you need to do is go to victorymenshealth.com to find out more. They've got 4 convenient locations now: Sunset Hills, Wing Haven, Town and Country, and O'Fallon, Illinois. A simple blood test, and you could be on the path to losing up to 15% of your body weight. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to victorymenshealth.com.
If you need someone you can trust for your eye care, go see the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. Kim St. Ange here. Doctors Birdie, Malhotra, Brusati, Royer, and Barry are experts in the diagnosis and treatment of diseases of the eye. 314-966-5000 or yourEyeDoc.com.
Shop summer brake deals at O'Reilly Auto Parts and get 2 cans of O'Reilly Brake Cleaner for just $8. Offer valid in-store only. The professional parts people can recommend the right brake parts and supplies for your next brake job at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
97.1 FM Talk. You're here. Not because of a label, but because conservative ideas actually work. St. Louis is home for conservative talk. This is 97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. How much of the DNC images have you seen so far? Like, have you spent any time watching the news coverage or seeing the protests or anything like that?
Yeah, I was going to say the only thing I've really seen is protests and commentary, but
what do you see?
News.
Like, if you were just dipping in and you were going to get a slice of what the Democrat Party looks like, do you have a clear, concise picture yet, or would you have to tune in more?
No, because I've been watching mostly Fox News, so I don't really know what the Democrats are trying to say about themselves from other media. But if I had to summarize it from what I've seen up until this point, the DNC in particular seems a little messy to me because of the Biden-Harris transition. So I'm not sure how they're going to message that.
It's they put out their platform today. They mentioned Joe Biden 19 times. How hard is it to do a PDF? You do Control F. If you're on a Mac, Command F. That or for find. That brings up the search box, and then you just type in Biden.
Yeah.
And then you see what you come up with. 19 times that they talk about Joe Biden's second term or, the Biden way of doing things. That seems easy. So, the real question is, how many times did they just remove Joe Biden out and the policies just remain the same? That's what I'm interested in, because if we're supposed to believe that the Kamala Harris 4 years in front of us, should she be elected president, are going to be different and better, then do we not compare them to the last 4 years where she was in the vice presidency and, for all we know, running the show?
Yeah, I like that she's talking about how, you know what, America's got problems. Because at least she's willing to acknowledge how badly she's done.
I'm not. I want them to be on record. The price gauging is what I understand that she said in a speech instead of gouging. I don't know if she read it wrong or if it was in the teleprompter wrong. She was going up against price gouging, talking about price controls, talking about writing more checks and handing more money out, $25,000 checks for people to be able to purchase a home. I mean, that's just going to make homes cost more, and it's just going to move costs up in the direction we don't want them to go. Instead of saying, you sit right where you are, the government will give you money, which the government doesn't have any money. Not only do they not have money, they have negative money that they haven't taken from you yet. Instead of saying, you sit there and what we're going to do is just put more money into the system, what we need to do is pull out the stop so that people can actually enjoy some economic financial success without the burden of having to wait for the government to show up to hand it to you. Because you can work your tail off right now. And I find that to be interesting with a lot of what Don Lemon has been experiencing, talking to people. You've probably seen these videos out there, and you listen to him talking to these different voters. And when people don't like Kamala Harris, he kind of pushes back on them. And that's been a clip that's been going around a lot. A lot of people have been talking about that and seeing that. There's another clip out there that, of course, I haven't seen our side showing as much, and he's in Pittsburgh. And I find this interesting because I was just in Pittsburgh, and so I got to the bridge that he's on. I was like, oh, I was just there. He's talking to people. This first video that I'm going to play for you, he was in a position to talk to people. They were very positive regarding Kamala Harris. And then there's a second video that I think more people are playing right now, of course, in the Foxes and stuff, acting like everybody who Don Lemon talks to is pro-Trump.
We're in Pittsburgh at a Pirates game. The vice president is coming with her bus tomorrow. Donald Trump's going to Scranton with his campaign. Everybody wants the vote in Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh is where the tour starts for the DNC. How are you feeling about the election?
I'm not feeling good, I'll tell you that much.
It's
crazy times. A lot of divisiveness, too much divisiveness.
Yeah.
Kamala Harris is gonna win.
You think so?
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
Because she will be the first female president in the United States of America. It would be nice to have a girl to finally win.
Just to interrupt here, like, most people are going to see that and go, what? I mean, how old do you think she is? 7? 8?
Yeah.
What 7 or 8-year-old talks like that? It seems so pre-programmed, but mine probably would, and it would be the opposite way. And I would be like, shh.
I don't.
You don't know of what you speak.
We talk about stuff in my household, but I don't think if somebody stuck a microphone in my kid's face, they'd just be like, boom. That seems like she was ready for
She's well. I mean, the kid's super cute, and she's well spoken. And I'm only saying that my kid would maybe do and say something like that. So I actually kind of think it's adorable. I hope that she grows up to learn better.
Boys are, they've had enough, right?
Yeah.
And can we get past Don Lemon's self-loathing? I mean, Don Lemon, you're not that bad of a guy. I mean, I don't know about you as a journalist, but like the things that you're constantly, boys are just, what does that mean? And he's saying this to a little girl to like make her feel better. It's just weird.
What would you say to Trump if you saw him?
You're gonna lose.
You've made your choice?
Yes.
You want to tell us?
No.
Have you made your choice?
Yes. I don't want to say it.
You want to say?
I'm from California. You probably guess who I am.
Yeah.
I'm scared for Trump to win. We need a woman in power.
It's really making you anxious?
Yes, stressed, very stressed.
It's got to be okay.
No matter who wins?
No matter who wins, it's got to be, because this is the best country on the planet.
The prospect of living under the Trump administration for the next 4 years is very frightening to me, so there's a lot at stake.
I'm very excited to see Kamala Harris on the ticket.
For real, for real?
Yes.
Why?
Because it's about time we not just have a woman represent the country, but a woman of color. She's going to be able to represent, I think, a broader group of people than...
I would just say that if you're a minority, you don't actually represent a broader group of people. It would, by definition, be a smaller group of people. But I want you to pay attention to the females that we've heard speak about this so far. None of them are talking about her, great accomplishments. We're going to get to one here in a second. But how important it is just for there to be a woman in office.
Anybody else that we've ever seen.
And she's qualified, you believe?
Absolutely. If she wasn't, why would she have done so well as the Attorney General of California?
Okay. Yeah, she nailed that one. I've told this story once before, and I'm going to tell it again because I think it's important. But when Nikki Haley was running for president and we were watching the news and Nikki Haley'd be up on the screen, my then 7-year-old daughter asked me who she was. I'm like, that's Nikki Haley. She was a governor. She's running to be the president. And she looked at me with her jaw dropped. She goes, girls can be president? And that stopped me in my tracks because through the eyes of a little girl, if you've got the presidents up in the classroom, it's all men. It's all white men. So we can't completely discount the understanding of all of the presidents who we've had before have all been white men, save Barack Obama. And then when little boys and girls who are children of color see Barack Obama up there, that opens something visually in their head that they may not talk about, they may not, dwell on, but it's just like, I see that happened. And that's important. It's to be celebrated, especially in this country, knowing that we are really not that far away from our ancestors killing each other over making sure that people, men and women, or people of color, were treated equally to white people. Like, our country did that, and that's really cool. And Barack Obama's presidency is an important marker in our timeline of history of how far we've come. And I'll remind people that black men had the right to vote a long time before women, white women, had the right to vote. It is important. These things do matter in the sense that it's part of the conversation. But where the Democrats totally lose their way is they make it the only part of the conversation. It's not something that's more important than your actual policy. Like, what is on the surface of somebody is not more important than the brain cells they use to formulate the things they want to implement that will represent you should they be serving there. And the Democrats want to wipe all of that other nonsense out there to make it so that the only thing that matters, like, just because a woman is going to become the president of the United States, if Kamala Harris becomes the president of the United States, I, as a suburban Christian white mother of 4 and wife, would be far more closely represented by the billionaire Donald Trump if he were in office than I would Kamala Harris. There is 0% of me that's like, well, because she's a woman, she'll understand my needs. She doesn't understand my needs. She's actually offended by my needs, which is the worst part of it. I want my daughters to both understand that, you know what, you could be the president of the United States. Yeah, you're a girl. That doesn't stop you from being the president of the United States, but you'd have to be a good president. You'd have to work to represent people and to help people and to make sure that you understand what America is and what it is about. And it's not just about power. It's not just about the way that we see the Kamala Harris's. You know, she sees every problem that she identifies. She thinks that only she in government can fix. That's not empowering the little girls anywhere. It's actually debilitating to little girls to think that the only way that you can have control of your life is to have sex with whoever you want, whenever you want, just like men can, and you can kill every one of those babies should you choose to. That's the power of being a Democrat feminist woman. That's debilitating. And everybody knows that. Everybody understands that you're not just supposed to say it out loud, because if you say it out loud, then you get into that unfortunate, which is the irony of all of it, imbalance between men and women, because you do not bear the same consequences for your actions. Men can be disgustingly, deplorably irresponsible with their sex lives and not ever have to bear a single child because it is scientifically, biologically not possible. If men could have babies, I don't think we'd have abortion the way we have abortion right now. I don't think it would be the same. Abortion is the great equalizer. It's what allows women to have consequence-free sex in the same way that men could. And it's amazing to me that the governmental solution is to say, wow, we have a complete imbalance here in consequence for actions, instead of holding men to be accountable for the things that women have to be accountable for and making them show up and support those children. I got an idea. Let's take men completely, leave them out of the equation completely. Leave them over there. Don't force them to answer for their actions. Let's just make it so women can be consequence-free as well. If they choose to have a baby, you can't make the man be responsible. Let's have government step in and fix the problem. So then the mom and the child always need government, not the completely irresponsible loser men that don't show up to take responsibility for their actions. That's what the left wants to do. Is that for young girls? Come on, give me a break. When Don Lemon went to Atlantic City, this is very interesting because it was in Jersey, which is a blue state, much like the state of Illinois is. He went out talking to people there, and when they answered his questions, this is kind of a compilation. A lot of Fox News shows are playing this now, where he got a bit of a different
Here in Jersey,
answer.
Atlantic City. Who do you support?
I'll plead the fifth.
Trump for the win.
Tell me why.
I can't really call that right now, but I just feel like she's not good for president. She's good vice, but not for the actual lead role for the country.
Does it have anything to do with being a woman?
No. No. Because I feel like women, nah, you're not going to give me that.
Your money's on Harris.
Yeah.
Who do you want?
Trump.
Why don't you like Harris?
Oh, she don't have any experience.
She's the vice president. She's a senator.
Yeah, no experience. No. She has no experience.
Well, I want Donald Trump. I just feel we need somebody that has a stronger background with the military and...
He's a prosecutor and attorney general, and a senator, and a vice president. You're in a gambling town. Who's your money on?
I'm going to support the Democratic Party, but, I mean, Trump looks like he got it in the bag right now.
4 years ago, it was a lot better. I made a lot more money than I do now.
I know you feel that way, but that's not actually what the record shows. The economy is actually better under Biden. No, I'm serious.
Do you hear that laugh? His cackle is everything you need to know. And when you listen to Don Lemon talking and walking people through this and asking him, like, when he says, I'm for Trump, and then if someone says, I'm for Trump, and their response is because the economy was better, that's their experience with the economy. Who the heck is Don Lemon to go tell these people? Like, this Don Lemon, he does think that people just sit at night and wait for Fox News to tell them what they think so that they can come and on the off chance they're going to run into Don Lemon on the boardwalk in Atlantic City and be like, I'm for Trump because the economy is good. If you're making more money but you're spending twice as much money on everything, you're not doing better. And that's what these people are talking about. Don Lemon comes back and he starts spouting the pro-Bidenomics, Kamanomics, economic numbers that are good, but the problem is they are trumped by worse numbers that make it so that you can't feel the benefit of the positivity that the Biden administration has tried to make you force you to see. If you're explaining in politics why it's good, you're losing every time.
What's amazing is this video was edited by Don Lemon.
Yeah. I give him props, though, for doing that.
For going out and talking to people?
And sharing it. He didn't have to share that video.
No, he didn't, although he's not got a whole lot of press lately. I'm not sure he knows what he's doing, but he is clearly trying to make himself, he's not a Republican. So these things that he's sharing, I will give him props for actually airing some of the people who said, I don't like Kamala Harris, because he could have just edited them out just as easily.
I could watch Don Lemon interviewing Trump supporters on the boardwalk all day.
Me too.
All day. And if at the end he's disgusted by all of them, I don't care. I'm interested in it.
just the elitism of that one clip of him saying, what do you think? And well, I don't like the economy. I was doing better. I was making more money 4 years ago. Let me correct you. You don't know this. You just walked up to this guy and asked him what his experience is and then told him he was wrong.
Yeah, but my charts say, I don't know your bank account, but my charts say everything is better.
It's ridiculous. And it's interesting to see people, if you're going to a Pittsburgh game, which is what he was doing when he was talking to most of the pro-Kamala people, those people are coming from all over to go to those games. And if you're on the boardwalk in the Atlantic, that's kind of a tourist destination. You could be talking to people who are from Indiana, who are on the boardwalk, who are voting for Trump. And that isn't an automatic reflection on Pennsylvania or New Jersey directly. We don't know the addresses. But to me, it's evidence that we need to go out and be talking to people, and we need to be willing to have the open conversation or the subtle, yeah, I support Trump. Whatever that is for you, find a way to do it, because these conversations are important. And when people start to see it more frequently, they're going to feel more comfortable in it. And then if they start having conversations, that domino effect is it's effectual. And I think that we need to participate in it. All right. Are you ready for the Queer Fat Club?
I've been waiting my whole life for this.
It's next.
Okay.
Video included on the live stream.
So I get to see the video from
I'm
this?
just going to sign you up, but we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see.
Okay.
We'll see. We will see when we come back. So ironic, especially in the world that we live in right now, the Democrat Party's identity politics and the very, very flimsy house of cards with which it serves its purpose. Let's talk about that with Ryan Wiggins next. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
STS-armory.com, a fresh website for you to go check out for your next purchase. And when you go to STS Armory, I want you to understand how welcoming they are, not pushy at all, incredibly knowledgeable and helpful when it comes to getting you taken care of, whatever the purchases you're looking for. Maybe you're just seeking out some information. Maybe you have a FOID card problem. Maybe you're saying, what's a FOID card? All of these things can be incredibly expedited and helped by Katie and Jesse, who are the owners at STS Armory. Now, STS Armory is located in Pontoon Beach, Illinois. They're right at the corner of Highway 111 and South Drive. Very simple to get to from 270. So hop onto 270, get on 111. Go say hi to the people at STS Armory. I shop there. I have made quite a few purchases from STS Armory, from everything from firearms to accessories to safes, ways for me to make sure that I can safely and responsibly exercise my Second Amendment in my family. They also offer classes. So if you're looking for a conceal and carry class, a renewal, a first-time gun owners class, they got you covered. They're the best. 618-931-GUNS, 618-931-GUNS, online at sts-armory.com.
Summer is here, which means pool days, beach trips, and yeah, you guessed it, traffic jams. Oh yeah, and heat waves. Don't let summer catch you by surprise. Get the local news you need, no matter what you're up to, with the free Odyssey app. And never miss a beat with alerts on breaking stories sent directly to your phone. Listen today on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY.
Attention, Missouri residents in need of care at home. If you have Medicaid and need assistance with daily activities, you can receive free in-home care from a loved one, funded by Medicaid with no cost to you. Freedom Care, Missouri's #1 home care provider, gives you the power to choose who provides your care, and they get paid instantly. Imagine your daughter, son, a close relative, or trusted friend helping you with cooking, transportation, laundry, and other activities in your own home. You get the help you need, and your caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift. Freedom Care has over 5,000 five-star Google reviews and is #1 in Missouri for in-home care. If you have Medicaid and want great care from a loved one that's 100% free to you, go to freedomcare.com or call 314-557-3027. That's 314-557-3027. 314-557-3027.
Freedom Care.
At Stifel, we put everything into the success of our advisors so they can put everything into your success. That means more than just building you a portfolio. It means we're invested in you and your future. And it means taking a personalized approach to managing your wealth. That's why Stifel is once again the top-ranked wealth management firm for employee advisor satisfaction. Stifel, where success meets success.
Stifel Nicholas & Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE. For J.D. Power 2024 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk is online, and you can stream it on your phone anytime. Just download the Odyssey app, and 97.1 is one button away. 97.1 FM Talk on the Odyssey app. This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
Are you ready for this, Ryan?
I've never been more ready. You know what? No, I'm not. I'm not really ready because I don't know what this is.
Okay, this is a Zoom call, and obviously somebody here was, well, let's just listen in. I'll set the stage for you. It's a Zoom call, and it's a meeting for, I can't remember if it's the Fat Queer Club or the Queer Fat Club. And just to paint a bit of a picture here, I think there's like four, I was going to say females, but maybe not. There are four people.
There's
whatever.
4 individuals.
Yes.
In the club?
In the club.
It's okay. So it's not a big club.
Well, and then there's one individual who joins, and he's, I don't know how tall he is because he's sitting down, but I'd imagine he's definitely not breaking 2 bills on the scale. So he's skinny.
Okay, so he's questionable.
Yeah, he's questionable, and he wants to join the club.
This is a queer fat club.
I'm queer and fat.
Okay, thank you for joining. We're just introducing ourselves at the moment.
Okay.
Do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, Joe?
Yeah, my name's Joe. I go by he, they, and I identify as 275 pounds.
Okay.
I feel like Jay's kind of making fun of me, though. I know it's kind of a shock. I know. Kind of a new thing.
I'm just,
Do what?
I said I apologize.
Oh, no, you're good.
Are you comfortable leaving the group at the moment?
Why?
I'm not understanding why you're joining the group.
This is the queer and fat group now?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I came here for.
Okay. And you said you identify as fat?
Yeah.
Okay. This is just for fat-bodied people.
Yeah, I understand. I identify as a fat-bodied person.
I'm not understanding where you're coming from.
Are you guys comfortable with me here? I mean, I'm pretty chill on my end.
I'm not comfortable, no.
Can we take like a vote?
This is a...
That's commitment. That is commitment to the bit. That kid did not crack a smile or wink at the camera or anything.
He said, I identify as 275. I think he maybe be 140 tops.
Yeah, if
he's tall.
Yeah, that's right.
If he's tall.
Yeah, because he doesn't look like he's definitely not breaking 200. We know that.
But the funny thing is that my favorite part of that is you've got the organizer, and she's kind of trying to like walk through. She never says this out loud, but she's like, you're obviously not fat. You can't be here. You can't be in our club. You're not fat. And while he's like, I identify as a fat person, he says, I'm queer and identify as 275 pounds. And then that other person starts laughing, like chuckling, like covers her mouth, and she's like, because he's a skinny little, he looks like a gamer dude. I don't know.
Yeah.
Judge people.
He's just some kid in a hoodie.
Yeah.
with headphones on.
And he says he identifies as 275 pounds, and the other people, they laugh. Why? Because it's ridiculous.
They're doing the right thing by laughing.
They are. What Like, is being fat the only thing you can identify as? Well, you can identify as everything else. You can walk in, Brian. You could walk into a DNC protest right now and be like, "My name is Sally, and I'm a chick," and they'd be like, "Hi, Sally," and then you would just go on with it. I mean, you don't have. There's no structure. There are no rules until they decide that there are rules.
That's what's so great about this kid is that this is what kids need to be doing today. You know,
trolling.
One of the things that kids are really good at is finding kind of a little flaw in the system and just exploiting
Especially
it.
teenagers.
Especially teenagers. So, teenagers, if you want to find a flaw in a system, here's one we're suggesting might have a few flaws, is the whole identity, the identify as whatever clubs, furries, anything you want, all in that category. It's really, really ripe for
What is
the picking.
the difference between this scrawny kid showing up for the fat queer group and they're like, this is for fat-bodied people? And he's like, yeah, is there a problem?
I identify as fat-bodied.
Super chill. The way she reacted to him, and you know, basically she's like, are you expecting me to pretend like you know what it's like to be a fat-bodied person? Is what when I was flying to Pittsburgh and the furry got on the plane in full costume. And I'm like, I guess that it is my responsibility to go along with this.
Yes.
And if I even visually suggest that it is making me uncomfortable, I am going to be deemed by some to be a bad person. I don't understand it. I really don't need to understand it. The other thing is that there were other people. This is what I do. I got on the plane. I saw this guy walking in his costume in the airport while we were at a bar waiting for the plane. And I was like, Jared, look. I was thinking it was like a mascot. Like maybe Lambert got a mascot. It was an orange fox.
Like you go talk to Lambie?
Yes.
Like, oh, look, kids, there's Lambie.
Really missed the boat on making it a sheep. And so I'm like, look. And he had just walked out of view when Jared lifted his head up. So Jared didn't get to see him.
Oh, what a shame.
And we turned the corner because we're at Southwest, as always, and we're like in the way far back high 30 gates. And we turn the corner and I see him. I'm like, oh my gosh, Jared, there he is. And we're like walking closer and like figuring out like where one gate starts. And, I'm like, if what's going on here? Because he's in full costume. He's just like sitting there like anybody, getting ready to board. And lo and behold, they're at our gate. And lo and behold, I think I was like A4 or something to board. So I was on first. On comes Furry in full costume, head on and everything. You could not even identify this person, which is probably the point, as a human being of any kind. How in this day and age can that guy board a plane in full costume and there are people getting pulled aside from TSA? Like we talked to Brandon Straka earlier in the show. He said they had air marshals on every flight he was on just in case he decided to start any trouble in the air. And we've got furries on going to Pittsburgh. So I get on and I'm sitting there. I'm like, what the heck's going on? And I just you start to like look around, you know? So I Google Pittsburgh furries.
Yep.
There's a furry convention.
Yeah, pretty big one.
It was so big that apparently AJ McCutcheon he loves Furry Day because he hits really well. There's like a whole thing. And when I was on Twitter, I was scrolling through, I'd like searched Twitter because I was trying to figure out what was going on. And there's just an AJ McCutcheon tweet and it just says furries. Each line is a new letter of the word. I'm supposed to sit and just go fly on a plane to Pittsburgh with Foxy back there and be like that's totally normal. But this guy can't sit on fat queer group.
Well, what's crazy is
and identify as 275.
The experience that you're defining is a really extreme one, but everybody knows that feeling of, ooh, what am I supposed to do here? Because there is a societal pressure put on you and put on everybody that you're supposed to think. So all of American society, and you feel this, is now telling you, no. You do not laugh. You do not even look. You accept this is normal.
Yeah.
And it is on you and everybody else to now accept that as normal.
But I would venture a guess that everybody feels the way Annie feels in that situation.
They do.
And they're just needing somebody. It's like the MAGA hat and the MAGA shirt. They are just needing somebody to go, nah, that's ridiculous. I ain't doing that.
Well, in a normal reality, you shouldn't have to wear the MAGA hat. The MAGA hat is the quiet way of pushing back on the other side that the pendulum has swung so far in, is that the things you're forced to accept as normal. And like you said, you're not even supposed to lift your head. When in reality, they're doing it so you lift your head.
Yes.
You're not supposed to lift your head. You're just supposed to accept it as normal. And when you internally feel like you're not saying like you wish any harm on anybody. You're just saying like this is not normal. This is outside of the norm. And some people want to live there. Okay, but let's still define it as outside of the norm. I don't really want to live in a world where every time I'm going up and down the grocery aisle, I see a Trump hat and then I see a Harris hat and then I see a Trump hat and then a Harris hat. I've never seen a Harris hat, so I don't know. But I want to live in a world where you can talk about issues and then there are people who represent those issues. The cult of personality that exists around politicians today is not helpful, but it is the reality of the situation. And so many times the left has been so successful in, like, think about the things that they keep you from talking about. Think about the things that they keep you from publicly questioning. Even though you know that you are in probably the substantial majority on how you think about it, think about how successful they've been in keeping you quiet. And we do have consequences for that silence now. And they win every argument that nobody shows up to have with them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the biggest problem of, forget about politics, it's a cultural problem. You can stand up for things that you believe to be right and good without demonizing and, pushing some sort of aggressive, violent reaction. Like, none of that has to happen. But it's okay if it's not violent to say, I don't agree with that. Or that's not a lifestyle that I want to participate in. Or that's not a lifestyle that I want my child to participate in or my family to participate in. It's okay to say those things without demonizing the other side. But we don't even try to walk that line anymore. You just keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, you're supposed to say to your kid who looks at that and goes, what the heck is going on?
And kids do.
Kids absolutely do. And but you, as a member of polite society, are supposed to say, well, son, that is that person's expression of their sexual preference, and we should applaud it. We should also not really draw attention to it. So let's not look at it. And the kid's going, I want to look at the giant guy in a fox outfit walking around on a plane. Yeah, it's weird. And you're supposed to go, no, it's not.
Yeah, but you can't. you have to stick with what is real and what is true. Anyway, if you decide to join one of those groups, please share the video.
The other thing that's funny about that video, having never seen it before, is that obviously they have an open invitation.
How do you get in there?
To anybody like in the world can come into this group.
Except that guy.
Well, except for that guy. And they have a total of 4 members. Somehow that guy was like, oh, I found a group that really fits here.
He says at the end, he's like, are you guys saying you don't want me here? I mean, I'm pretty chill. And then he goes, can we take a vote? And then it cuts off. Oh, he tried. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll talk about the results of today's YouTube live chat poll when we return. When will you vote this election? Are you going to vote early? Are you going to vote on election day? Or are you not voting? Let us know on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow.
All right, what are you doing Labor Day? I hope you're going to go to Midwest WINGFEST what a fun event. We've been to this multiple years now. The wings are amazing. It's Friday and Saturday of Labor Day weekend, but they've got a ton more food as well. Something for everybody in the family. And tickets are available at MidwestWingFest.com. Come out to Midwest Wingfest in Fairview Heights, Illinois. They've got music, they've got food, they've got treats. Last year, Ryan, you ate a fried Twinkie, and it made you dance like a maniac.
I also ate the leftovers of your fried Twinkie. I ate 1.5.
You ate 1.5. I think
Yeah.
I tried it and said, here you go. It was delicious. They have all kinds of foods and delicious wings, of course. $5 for patrons 12 and older. You can upgrade your experience with VIP tickets that include unlimited chicken wings from Dandy Inn and beer from Chick Fritz distributors, as well as private restrooms. So go to MidwestWingFest.com and get your tickets today. And remember that all of this goes to benefit local heroes. You can get all the details online at MidwestWingFest.com.
Before you sell your home, consider your options. Mark Cox here, and for years now, I've been telling you about St. Louis real estate expert Gloria Liu, owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria is an expert in selling homes for the most money because she has the guarantees, the buyers, and different solutions for every type of seller. She recently provided a family multiple cash offers in minutes so they could move quickly with no showings, no costly repairs, and no hassles. Now, not everyone's looking for multiple cash offers. That's why Gloria will sell your home at your agreed upon price, or she'll buy it. Her name says it all, Your Home Sold Guaranteed. Regardless of whether you're looking for multiple cash offers or you want to utilize her Guaranteed Sold program to ensure you get the most money possible. Here's your next step. Call Gloria at 314-325-6888 or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Your garage door is always there for you, rain or shine. Are you taking your garage door for granted? Is it screeching and whining for attention? Trust Overhead Door Company of St. Louis to keep your garage door reliable. Maybe the old weather stripping needs replaced to keep out the cold and hot air. Call Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, trusted here since 1926. For same-day service, call 314-781-5200 and schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
We all have someone we love, like the favorite lyric in our favorite song. You can't imagine life without them. So tell them today, I love you. Get screened. It could help save their life. Visit cancer.org/getscreened to learn more.
The YouTube live chat poll today asks, when will you vote? Are you going to do it early, election day, or are you not voting? We'll give you the results of this poll within 10 minutes, so you still have a little time. You type in Annie Fry on YouTube. The live chat poll will come up along with the stream. You can watch the show, 2:46. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon getting set to go here on a Monday afternoon. The DNC starts in Chicago. I'm just back from Chicago and have some stories and a news hoax at Francis Howell. We'll cover that and more. It's all coming up.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
Well, I know you can't work in fast food all your life, but don't sign that paper tonight. She said, but it's too late. Then I don't remember what I read. I don't remember what they said.
The American people just don't buy the idea that Kamala Harris, who has been vice president for 3.5 years, is somehow going to tackle the inflation crisis in a way tomorrow that she hasn't for the past 1,300 days. Giving Kamala Harris control over inflation policy, Shannon, it's like giving Jeffrey Epstein control over human trafficking policy. The American people are much smarter than that. They don't buy the idea that Kamala Harris represents a fresh start. She is more of the same. It is doubling down on the failed policies of the Harris administration to give Kamala Harris a promotion rather than to fire her, which is what I think most Americans are going to do on November.
So Shannon Bream, when he goes Epstein, she just, you can see her like go, oh, but she doesn't. She's a pro, so she doesn't let that smirk and smile really get through there. JD Vance, I just think he's doing a really great job, and it's interesting to see how JD Vance out the gate, the left just dumps everything on him. They try to label him as weird. I don't think that word means what you think it means. I don't think that weird is sticking to JD Vance the way the left wanted it to at all. Like, every time you listen to somebody on the left try to end a conversation, they're like, why are you so weird? And then they're like, just boom, like mic drop, like all of the different memes that you can throw in there. They think that is the be all end all. And everyone's like, you would think it was weird. Like, I've seen what you think is weird, and I've seen what you've tried to make normal. I'm good with being weird.
Yeah, I can't wait till the veil gets pulled back for half a second with these debates. It'll go right back to what it was right before that. But the debates do matter, and we get to see at least one from each one of them.
We don't have any details on that yet to talk about yet.
Well, September 10th. But
but not us. We can't. Not yet.
Just be a part of whatever we're going to do. You should do something with us, is what I'm saying. I just can't tell you what it is.
Save the date.
Save the date. Yeah, we're going to be out there. We're going to be partying.
We're out there.
We're so weird.
Did you see, I don't know if either of you saw this, but there was an umpire who called a ball a home run, and then the other team challenged it. And when he went to put the headset on, do you know how this works in Major League Baseball?
I think so.
Like for the replay and the challenge or whatever, they put the headset on. The crew chief puts the headset on. They call New York. New York goes bloop 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 bloop. Okay, that's call's confirmed. It's inconclusive, so the call stands or it's overturned. These are your options. So he's got to get the headset on, and when he does, he's got like a quarter zip jacket pullover, and it was unzipped to like pretty much completely unzipped for a quarter zip, and Cosmo Kramer was on his t-shirt. Did you see that?
Yeah.
No, I didn't see it.
This guy's like a legend now.
Okay.
How much of a Seinfeld fan are you?
Probably in the top 75% or 25%, I guess. Opposite of that, yeah. So top quarter.
High?
Yeah, high.
Did you watch it live? Like, were you watching every Thursday night or whatever it would
be? Pretty
on?
much, yeah.
It was a Thursday night?
I was watching it with my parents a lot at that time.
Really?
Because it was the 90s, so.
What about you, Bren?
I didn't really watch Seinfeld. I wasn't a Seinfeld watcher. I picked up on it more after my high school time than before.
I am not a Seinfeld person, but my family was. So all the Seinfeld references get thrown around me. And so I know the references, like, I'm out there, Jerry. I know that one, but I don't know what other than, I'm pretty sure it's Kramer. Right?
I'm out there, Jerry.
You don't know that one?
I mean, it sounds Seinfeld, but I can't picture what it was.
Maybe you're not as much of a fan as you thought.
That's why I put myself in the top 25%. There's still people higher than me. I'm not top 10, not top 5.
YouTube live chat poll for today. When will you vote? Are you going to vote early? Are you going to vote on election day? Are you going to not vote? I intend to vote early, and I want to try to encourage other people to do the same. I honestly don't. People say they want to vote early. I saw some comments come through here. Maybe we've got some I'll feature here. Well, let's see. GWIP says, I vote on election day, and I show my ID when they ask for my name. Are you Missouri GWIPs? I tried to show my ID before in Illinois just for the sake of it. They're like, we don't want it. Like, I'm sure you don't.
Isn't that weird when you do that? And they almost are like, no.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that here. This is Illinois.
Yeah.
Come on.
You got to show your ID to get in the DNC, though, this week. Peggy said, my husband works the poll so easier for us to both to vote early. Andy said early, mostly to avoid the crowds. I think that's good advice. Jackie said, I'm voting early after the shenanigans in Maricopa County election in 2022. I'm not leaving anything to chance. Charlie Kirk is right. Use the existing playbook. Smart words there. Scoot says, never voted early myself, voted same day. And Chris said, election day, I've never voted early, but I have never had an excuse to do so. Gary said, I'm voting early, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed that Trump sticks to the script and the issues and the policies and stops with the personal attacks because he doesn't need to do that. Gary, cross your fingers, but do not hold your breath. I don't recommend that. Erica says, I've never voted early. I have never early voted, but I would probably vote early this year. I don't relish standing in line again for 2 hours. Doesn't it? People think that there are people who feel like if you vote early, your vote is, it's more possible for something nefarious to happen to it. Don't you think?
Yeah, but I don't know why. I don't know why that is, but I do think that sentiment is there.
I just want to make people feel super less comfortable that your election day vote is more secure than your early vote.
Exactly.
Like I don't feel like you're bulletproof either way.
Yeah, and my experience has been the opposite. That when I've tried to early vote, the line was longer than when I voted on election day. So maybe it's different in Missouri too.
Yeah, that has not been my experience. But was there what was the early vote day?
So it was 2020. So it was probably a lot of people trying
COVID.
to spread out and not be on election day, is my guess.
Yeah.
And I went to Troy, Illinois, and I think there's a couple places you can go for an early vote in our county. And that was one of them, and I showed up, and it was at least an hour, and I said, never mind, I
think that's a COVID
come
thing.
back. It probably was.
Paul said, as a poll worker, I cannot vote on election day, so make sure you show up and vote early, of course. Frank said, I'll stand in line with my physical being and do it the proper way. That's a good question. That poses a good question. Like, is there a proper way?
Well, I understand not trusting the mail as much, and that's why early voting is not necessarily mail-in voting.
Yeah, it isn't.
So going in person, if you feel more comfortable doing that, I do.
I feel way more comfortable going in, filling in the circles, handing it over, getting my sticker. When they say, you've been counted, I like it.
I wish they gave us stickers like the doctor's office, though. I always get the one that says I voted, but
Like
I want
Adora?
Pokemon.
Oh.
Yeah. I want to have Eevee or Magikarp.
That's my daughter's favorite Pokemon.
Oh, really?
Evelyn's.
Oh, we should probably play sometime.
Eevee.
Yeah. Anyway.
Good talk.
It's been great. It's been a great show.
It's not over yet.
Couple minutes shy.
I know
but,
it feels like it's over, but it isn't quite.
But I get the whole mail-in thing because once it leaves your hands, you don't know. You assume that everything's fine, and it probably is, but you don't know for sure. It's just like they say, would you send $500 cash in the mail? Well, it'll probably get there, but you don't really have any guarantee that it will. So I much rather show up and fill in the ballot right there, put it in the machine myself.
Yeah. I don't like mail-in, but I'll use this example. I had a wedding ring that had some damage, and the company that I bought it from, they're like, send it back to us, make sure you insure the envelope, and we will repair it or replace it. And then it was like 3 weeks later, and they're like, we didn't ever receive it. And they said, finally, we got the envelope. We're going to send it back to you. The envelope was ripped open. Somebody stole the ring out of it. The mail isn't secure. It's a good thing that I had it, but it's not secure, so I don't trust it with my vote.
I think that's probably the way a lot of people feel. But if you go in an early vote, it's a different setup. I encourage it. I'm going to try to help lead it. We'll see what we can do this year to make a difference. With 289 votes in today's YouTube live chat poll on the Annie Fry YouTube channel, you can always go subscribe and participate with us along there. When will you vote in the general election? 3% of you voted in this poll but will not be voting in this election. High
Love
five,
you.
guys. Yeah, high five. What is 3% of 289 people? It's like 10 people.
Oh, you just decided the election.
Yeah, you could make a difference, folks. 30% of you said you will vote early, and 66% said you vote on Election Day. Not too bad. Appreciate you all for participating in today's YouTube live chat poll. Go to AnnieFryShow.com for all of the podcasting, all the cuts, an ability to leave a feedback form for us on what you love about the show, what you don't love about the show. And stick around. Mark Reardon coming up next.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
Cassens & Sons, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. Have you looked them up on cassenscan.com yet? I hope you have. Right now, super excited to talk about 0% being available on most new Jeeps. This is through the end of the month, so you want to call Cassens and start that conversation right away. If you're looking for a new Jeep in your life, our family drives a Jeep Grand Cherokee from Cassens, and we love the vehicle. Actually, we have it up there right now for a little upkeep. Cassens & Sons, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram is in Glen Carbon. It's just about a mile north on 159 off of 270. Incredibly easy to get to with the best people in the business. 618-800-2712. If you want to talk about 0% available on a Jeep that you might see listed at cassenscan.com, call them at 618-800-2712. 618-800-2712. And be sure to tell them you heard about them on the Annie Fry Show. When others can't, Cassens can. 0% available on most new Jeeps online at cassenscan.com.
What's your favorite four-letter word? Chances are you've said it more than a few times dealing with this crazy world we live in. But at Compass Retirement Solutions, our four-letter word of choice is hope. Hope for a better tomorrow. And hope that your retirement plans don't take a back seat. You've watched inflation soar, and maybe your retirement future feels a little uncertain right now. But all hope is not lost. Find out exactly how much risk you're still taking with your investments. Find out how you may be able to save big on taxes. And find out how having a written retirement plan just might give you the hope you've been looking for. Call today to set up a meeting. 314-373-1598. That's 314-373-1598. Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory firm in Missouri and Illinois. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A warning from the former president, Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Very simply, Kamala Harris is an economy wrecker and a country destroyer. Our country will be destroyed if she gets in.
But he also just said that 78 days from now,
Pennsylvania is going to tell her